million miles from you. So I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. I'll be around. Yeah. You're not scared of love, just scared of love. Alright, alright, enough. Just tell me if you want my love or not, or not. 'Cause I don't wanna be that one. Still a million miles from you, yeah. So I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. 'Cause I don't wanna be that one. No, still a million miles from you. So I'm gonna let you go. You go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm
Tell him I need my money right now. Brought me the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. But don't waste my energy, my energy. I don't got much, don't be wasting all my energy. I keep it tight, don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just fine, and I thought your heart was like mine. But let me find out, you've been going around throwing shots, running plots. Come on, man, tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Brought me the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. Don't waste my loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see. But now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't ever lied, I had to leave. Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. But you won't break me, God as my witness. Past the point of no return, I'm on a mission. Tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Brought me the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. Don't waste my
she's putting all of her cards down on the table, knowing there's no way that you'll be able to win this one. But she's somebody else in the making. First, she just gotta stop all the faking, and she'll be there. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Somebody say, don't be afraid of loving yourself, 'cause that is all you got in the end. You got in the end. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself 'cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself 'cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that'll make her feel better? Make her feel better. And that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Yeah, that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself 'cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself 'cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own.
Yeah. I want a house in the hills I pay big bills for. I ain't got in pocket. I wanna empty out my wallet. I wanna stop motion, stand still. Wallace and Gromit. I wanna talk more endlessly. I wanna neurotically vomit. I want more dollars from my mama. I want a palace in Prada. I want a Gucci bag where I can store my sorrows and hardships. I wanna gold plate my finance. I want endless tomorrows. I want a lot more than I got right now. But that's the problem. You could give me every little thing I'd ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all. Yeah, you can give me every little thing I ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
Second thought, I want $1 for everyone, not just for my mama. I wanna hit the ball out on random pedestrians. I want my questions to be answered till my brain bored and questionless. I want more self-assurance. I don't ever want to second guess. I want someone to shut the fuck up. Less heat trying to tell me yes again. I want so many best friends that I can't tell what friendship is. I want the diamonds, gold, and glitter. I want fast cars I'll never whip. I want it all till I'm empty in my castle of everything.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
I want a cushy job
vibe that pay big bills and cheap thrills. Wanna mob out with my homies like Timmy, Tommy, and Dill. I'm not trying to be famous, okay, maybe a lil. Since I'm a rapper, I should buy me some grills and gold frills that I can sleep on while I contemplate pills and peep on, hold still. Might sedate you, just a fire at will. I got an appetite for hardship, big fish meets krill. Don't sleep, don't spill, I ain't got my fill. I want the beauty queen to make me show my pearly whites. The type of movie scene that make you count your blessings twice. It's not the only thing that's on my list, I checked it twice and sent it off to Santa's elves like I've been playing nice.
I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. But it might be a little more than I give you.
You broke my heart.
You broke my heart
A million times.
a million times.
Can't count the times I made you cry. Oh, we're such a mess.
We're such a
now,
mess.
And we're burning out.
We're burning out.
I get so sad.
I get so sad.
The thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. You're still perfect.
Good morning, y'all.
as the day goes
Good
by.
morning, good morning.
Even
Welcome.
the worst ones hate,
Happy
they
Wednesday.
make me smile. I stop the world if
Happy
it
Wednesday.
would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out,
Good
to
morning.
work things out, to
Hi,
work things
Cynthia.
out,
Hi, Miss Carrington. Miss Carrington upgraded her
to work
membership.
things out.
She's now Miss Carrington upgraded her membership. Miss Carrington, you upgraded your membership.
To work things out, to
If you
work
are
things
here,
out.
Miss Carrington, please email
Can
me.
we be honest?
soldiers@shannonrawls.com. Email me to soldiers@shannonrawls.com.
Don't let me go. I know you're ready.
Good morning, Lakeisha. What up, Steven? JT Coin Rings. He's announced the stream sponsor. Says it's the best place, best book club, and top-notch channel. I don't want to say blessed. I'm like saying blessed playlist. The best playlist and the best book club in the top-notch channel. Oh, Patrice is here. Hey! OG Patrice is in the house, y'all. What up? What up, sis? What up, M. Mills? Miss Parker. Miss Parker, what you doing today? Miss Parker, I gotta go to Target. Do you want to go to Target with me today so I can make sure I don't spend $500 and I only spend $50? Every time I go to Target, I'll be intending to spend $50 and I end up spending $500. I need you to come to Target with me today to make sure that I don't spend $50. Hey, Jill. Good morning, Jill. Or afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you. Yeah, King Talk was good last night. You borrowed the house. J Boogie. That's what I'm gonna call Javaro. J Boogie. My man Javaro's in the house, y'all. Hey, Miss Drea. How you guys doing? You guys ready to read? Is everybody ready to read? We are reading the Book of Obsidian. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. I'm shouting out all the soldiers in the chat, the people who support me on a daily basis. Thomas Thompson is here. Therese, good afternoon, Therese. Therese is on the East Coast. It's 9 o'clock here, so it's It's 12 o'clock on the East Coast. So she's saying good afternoon. She's on the East Coast. Good afternoon, Therese. Good afternoon, Therese. What up, Thomas? Princessa. How you doing, love? Where you been, Princessa? Why I feel like I haven't seen you in like a year. I feel like I haven't seen you all year. You been getting that money? You been getting that rest? All right, we all caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are reading. You guys ready to read? Welcome to the Rich People Read Book Club here at YouTube, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. We read books here live. We read books here live. We want you to read along with us. Today we are reading the Book of Obsidian. What's going on? Don't be switching my inputs. Why my computer be switching my inputs? I don't know why it does that. Let me turn my Bluetooth off. It'll be trying to jump over to my AirPods. Let me check. Let me check to make sure my system is good. Hold on 1 second, guys. You know, yesterday we had a big old glitch. It just jumped out. Okay, everything looks good. All right. We are reading the Book of Obsidian, a manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. It is for the American gentleman, the Black American gentleman. However, everything that we read in this book is good for women as well. See, the ladies that watch our channel, because we're pretty intelligent over here. We are a channel of intelligent people. There's other places on YouTube where you can go where you won't find too many intellectual discussions. We'll put it that way. To put it mildly, you won't find too many intellects. Over here, we're full of intellects, geniuses, smart people, people with well-to-do, educated, well-off, top shelf. That's what we do over here. And we are a book club. No, we don't just sit around and gossip and what that we don't do all that over here. It's not how we get down. That's not how we roll. Over here, a little bit smart. We are reading the Book of Obsidian. Today we start chapter 1. We're reading 4 chapters today. I'm going to read fast. Chapter 1 through 4. The book is written for the 21st century Black American man. However, the women over here are smart enough to reverse engineer the information. They can reverse engineer the information. They can extrapolate out of the readings what we're telling to what we're reading to the men, which will help the women themselves. That's why women are here listening and reading along. Now you can get the book. I got the link to go get the book. You can get the ebook right now if you run over to Amazon. I've been getting photos of people who purchased the book. Javaro has his book in. Somebody else sent me an email of the book, but I don't know who it was. The email didn't have a name. So they were just like, got my book. And I was like, you got to put your name in your email. But they got their book. I think RCC mentioned in our back chat that his book is coming on Friday. See, what's important is the books that we read, I want you to have the physical copies of them. Because as you build your library, you're going to want to refer to these books in the future. You're going to build a library, ladies and gentlemen. Rich people read, and wealthy people have libraries in their homes. So I want you to actually have physical copies of the book. But if you want to just read the ebook right now, it's only like $8. It is less than a McDonald's meal. Just run over to Amazon, click the link in the description. It'll take you straight over to Amazon. Buy the book. And you can read along with us. If you don't want to do that, you can just listen to your boy Shan read. I'm going to have the book up on the screen. You can just listen to me read. I'm going to blow through this and we're going to have a discussion. And if you guys want to talk about it at the end, we can. I'll bring you guys up. We can have a panel discussion on these 4 chapters. I appreciate you guys being here. What up, McDonnie Mac? Yo to the noobs. Today's Founders Day. My name is Shannon Rawls, Big Brother Chocolate, Spring 97, EK, Epsilon Captain, Rock of the West. Past Polmart, the Rock on my line, number 5 Club. Come on. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yo to the noobs. We are getting ready to knock this out, you guys. You guys are ready? We got 16 people in here. It grows. It grows. So I want everybody to turn your volumes up. Turn your volumes up. We're going to read this entire book this month. And then we're going to move on to another book for February. But this book is the book of the month. This book is written by Obsidian. I'll read the description to you once again. Over the past decade, there have been many things said and written about the state of Black love. Some good, and in many cases, mostly bad. No one had the balls to say what so badly needed to be said until now. After more than a decade of the most intense boots on the ground study of relationships and the science of human mating, Mumia Obsidian Ali, one of the founding fathers of the Black Manosphere and longtime podcaster, talk radio host, blogger, and writer, finally weighs in and gives his take. The Book of Obsidian is an unflinchingly honest look at the state of dating and mating in the 21st century Black America. And it ain't pretty. Definitely not for the faint of heart or the politically correct that's so prone to being quote unquote triggered these days. Ali's book is a hands-on manual that gives today's Black man the tools to navigate the minefield that is Black love today. Read the book if you dare and transform your life. That's what we're starting today. So if you guys are here, you're here for chapter 1. You don't really have much catch up. What we read on Monday was the introduction and the acknowledgments. We started with the acknowledgments, then we read the introduction. Today is chapter 1. So if you're here now, wonderful. That means I want you to tap in with us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Tap in with us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the days that we're reading this book. Subscribe to the channel, please. Please like this video. Thank you. It's 20 people in here watching the show. It's 19 likes. Can I get one more thumbs up? Can you guys, if you're watching it on your device, on your mobile device, just hit the X to lower the chat, then hit the thumbs up, and then hit live chat to bring the chat back up. There we go. I got that thumbs up. Thank you so much. Whoever that was. Oh, I got 2 more. I got 3 more. Thank you. For those 3 people that just hit the thumbs up, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support.
Welcome to the real world.
Thank you for your support. Oh, look who just subscribed to the channel. Look who just subscribed to the channel. Everybody. Obsidian himself. I hope I do my big brother right. I hope I do justice for my big brother as we get ready to read his book. The author is here, ladies and gentlemen. He just subscribed to the channel. Obsidian is here. Thank you, Obsidian. Thank you for tapping in. I hope it's okay that we read your book. If you do not want me to read it, let me know. I will stop immediately. But I think this is a book that needs to be sold, and I think it's a book that needs to be told. I haven't read it. This is my first time reading the book, but I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to get started. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are reading chapters 1 through 4 of the Book of Obsidian, a manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. Please share this video as we get started. It's going to take us about a couple hours. I'm going to read pretty fast, though. I'm going to read pretty fast. He has some of his chapters are really quick. So I'm going to read pretty fast. And if you guys want to have a panel discussion at the end of these 4 chapters today, let me know. I'll fire it up. I'll fire up the system. Let everybody in. I'm excited. We're getting ready to go, you guys. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? I appreciate you guys for pulling up. I appreciate you guys for pulling up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure that you like this video and you share this video. And if you so will, join the army. You notice the rank, the military rank next to the members that's in the chat? Those are the soldiers of the SR Army. We are the SR Army. We're not the US Army. We are the SR Army, where we are elevating our lives to the next level. Huh? Shout out to my soldiers. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's get ready. Thank you, RCC. Thank you for putting Obsidian's link. Everybody, please go subscribe to Obsidian. We got to get Obsidian. He had a channel that was taken down. He's now, this is his second network. We need to get him to 20,000. So please, everybody, real quick, take a second. Just take a quick second. Tap that link that RCC just put in the description. Run over there and subscribe to him and then come on back. Tap that button and then run over to Obsidian, subscribe to him and pull him back. Mind you, I've never met Obsidian. I've never met the brother in person. I've never had a personal conversation with him. I went on his show one time about a month ago. He allowed me to come up on his show. We had a quick discussion on dating and modern day dating for older men. And then I was out. I haven't been there since. Obsidian knows nothing about me, but I am a fan. I told you guys there's 4 people that I really like on YouTube. There's 4 people that I support on YouTube. 1 is Kevin Samuels. 2 is Edward Anderson. 3 is BGS, Itmore. And 4 is Obsidian. Those are the 4 people that I really, really, really admire. Then there's other people. It's about 10 more. I mean, you got people from the Lapeef Network. You got Anton Daniels. You got a lot of people that I support. There's a lot of people that I support. In addition to, you know, O'Shea Duke Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Bernard Riley. I mean, I'm just running them off at the top of my head. But those 4 brothers, they make a difference. In fact, I oftentimes repeat a lot of their talking points and teach them and reteach them to you. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you, Javaro. Everybody sub to Obsidian. Let's get him to 20 grand. Let's get him to 20 grand. Javaro, you just bought his book. You just bought his book. Oh, by the way, Javaro, I put the photo of the book that you bought, the Obsidian book, over in my community tab. I don't know if you noticed that, but you put the picture in our back chat. I reposted it in our community tab to let everybody know that you bought the book. I did that yesterday. Guys, let's get ready. Let's get ready. Is the Before the Billions here? Oh, my man, Before the Billions is here. Shout out to Before. Did you make it to the gym Before the Billions? I know you said you was going early. I read the chat after our workout this morning. You said you was heading over to the gym. Shout out to Before the Billions. He's another person that I support and I admire. So that's what I'm saying. There's so many people over here at YouTube. It's hard. You know, I got my man Kosher Clinician. I got my guy El Guapo. You know, I got Mr. O Just Living. I got friends over here, you guys. You know what I'm saying? I got friends over here that I really support. But those 4 brothers has really made an impact on me. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to read chapter 1 of the Book of Obsidian. A manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. Oh, Before the Billions is in the gym now. That's what's up. That's what's up. Before the Billions is in the gym now. Cool. Why are you getting it in Before the Billions? Listen to your boy read this book, man. When you get a chance, run over to Amazon. Click the link in my description. And then it'll take you straight to his book. Purchase yourself a copy when you get a chance. Before the Billions. In the meantime, throw me in on your AirPods or whatever you're listening to while you getting your workout in, bro. And listen to your boy read. Let's go, you guys. Let's go. Let's switch to our read screen. And we will go. I'm going to read pretty fast. What up, Hayakia? I believe I said it right. Hayakia. My man Hayakia. What's happening? JT Coin Rings just bought it on Kindle and blessed the chat with a super chat. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You know you already are the stream sponsor. So now I'm going to update your amount, JT. I'm going to update your amount. JT is the stream sponsor. Everybody throw your ones up for JT. Everybody throw your ones up. Soldiers, throw your ones up for JT Coin Rings, who is now our stream sponsor. Got his name going across the bottom. He has supported the channel with financially. Thank you so much, JT. I appreciate you. That's his second. That's his second. That is his second super chat of the day. Let's get ready, guys. I'm going to read this book. We're going to knock it out. This is going to be helpful. This book is good for the men, but ladies, is good for you too. All right, here we go. Chapter 1, The Black Love Machine. Where did we go wrong? Now tell me what went wrong with love, and maybe we can fix it. What's wrong between us? Where did we go wrong? Now tell me what went wrong with love. That's LTD. Where did we go wrong? You guys don't know nothing about LTD. See, I'm 49 years old. Y'all, we do sidebars, by the way, when we read, for those that don't know. We do sidebar before we read, for those that don't know. So y'all don't know nothing about LTD. You don't know nothing about, see, I grew up on that kind of music. Y'all don't know nothing about that. I suggest that you search LTD music. Just search the group. This is the stuff I grew up on. Oh, look at that. Before the Billions has blessed the channel with a super chat. Before the Billions has blessed the channel with a super chat. Shout out to my guy, Before the Billions. Everybody throw your ones up. He says he's working on his back. Today is back day in the gym while listening to the knowledge. Shout out to Shannon and Obsidian. Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm worthy of being put in the same sentence with Obsidian, but thank you. Shout out to Obsidian. You are now the stream sponsor, Before the Billions. You beat him out by a penny, brother. I gotta update it. You beat him out by a penny. You're now $4.99. I'm gonna put it up here. Before the Billions is our stream sponsor. Y'all not gonna let me read. Got another super chat. Everybody throw your ones up. My man, Uncle Stu, old man on the block, is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to watch his videos. We need to get his watch hours up. We need to get his watch hours up. We need to get his watch hours up. Everybody, Uncle Stu on the block is in the house. He doesn't even have nothing to say. He just blessed the channel with a $5 super chat. So I'm gonna he beat you out by a penny. Uncle Stu, the man on the block, the old man on the block, is now the stream sponsor. Let's do that real quick. Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, is now our stream sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that don't know, we stopped talking. We stopped talking. We stopped what we're doing when people bless my channel. Over here, when people go so far as to dig into their pocket and bless this channel, I stop what I'm doing. I don't care if I'm reading. I don't care if we're watching a movie. I don't care what we're doing over here. If we're having a discussion, I got to shout out the people that bless the channel. Now, I know when the channel gets bigger, I won't be able to necessarily do that, but it's always going to be imprinted on the screen. It will always be imprinted on the screen. Always. Always. Oh, my God. Before the Billions. Okay, we ain't about to have a fight for the top spot. Before the Billions is now the stream sponsor again. Before the Billions. Y'all gonna let me read now. Before the Billions is now the stream sponsor at $9.98. Before the Billions is now the stream sponsor at, come on now, JT is now the stream sponsor at $14.98. Look, y'all ain't gonna have this argument. Look, we ain't starting. Don't y'all start with me. I'm gonna ignore y'all. JT says I'm gonna just place this here. JT, before I can make you the stream sponsor at $14.98, RCC then came in and dropped the dub. All right, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna do this today. Last time we did this, it got up to $700. Y'all ain't gonna do this today. Damn it. RCC 72. Wait, RCC Detroit 72 stream sponsor at $20. And then Uncle Stu hit us with another $5 super chat. Hold on. What does Before the Billion say? Before the Billion said Uncle Stu had to come in with an extra penny. And then JT came behind him and he said, look, I'm going to just put this here. And then RCC came in and said, look, Obsidian Network 2, looking forward to the read. Make sure you guys subscribe to Obsidian. And then we got Uncle Stu came back in with another $5 super chat. He said, okay, I got to win this morning. But RCC already hit it with the dub. And then before the Billions is now taking it up to $39. All right, look, damn it. Fellas. See, ladies, this is what ego does. This is what men do. This is what men do. Before the Billion says, I can't let this slide. He came in with a dub to add to the 10 that he already had. So he took us to $39.95, $39.98. A to Z Health came in and did a super sticker. Thank you, A to Z Health, for your $5 support. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And then Uncle Stu came in with another dub. Now, I got to add this up. Uncle Stu, 20. Uncle Stu, 5. Uncle Stu, 5. Uncle Stu is at a solid 30. Now, stop sending money. Stop. I want to read. I want to read. Uncle Stu got it. Uncle Stu at a solid 30. Before the Billions was close at $29.98, but Uncle Stu is at a solid 30. He is the stream sponsor. Can we read, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all, if y'all want to bless the channel, you could end the show with the super chats. We got to read. We got 4 chapters to knock out in one sitting, and I got to read. And I hadn't even started on the first paragraph. You guys, ladies, this is what men do. This is what men do. This is how we. I want to say this is how I flex. Remember, I told you guys I did the same thing. I ended up spending 10 grand in one night flexing. It was all love with my friends. Turn around and made it back. This is what we do. This is how we show. This is bravado of men, and we love doing it. This is why we work. This is why we work. Right? You guys compete in beauty. You do your makeup. Get your hair right. How's that dress looking? How them shoes? What kind of clutch purse you carrying? Did you get your nails right? You ladies compete in the beauty department. Us men, we compete on our work ethic. You got my man Before the Billions in the gym doing back day, dropping dubs. You got Uncle Stu who just got over 1,000. We need to get his views up. So I need you guys to start watching his videos. All right, everybody start watching Uncle Stu's videos and tapping into his live chats. This is what we do, ladies, and we love doing it. That's just, but remember, right? I believe in high value. That's why we're high value Shan over here, because not only is Shan a high value man, so is the content. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. Brothers, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. And thank you also. Where does she go? Her name is A to Z Health. Thank you, A to Z Health, for your support as well. I appreciate you. All right, chapter 1. What exactly is the Black love machine? You may ask. It's a question that I've asked myself quite a bit throughout the writing of this book. Simply put, the Black love machine is the vast industrial complex that caters to the idea of quote unquote Black love and the millions of Black women who ostensibly seek it. It's been debatable as to whether Black men are as interested in the matter. If the sheer amount of material in the form of books and various multimedia is anything to go by at present, we would have to say, at the very least, Black men are nowhere near as interested as Black women. We can debate. Let me close this out. Hold on. I got stuff in my screen that's in my way. I'll move this over here. We can debate the reasons why, but the evidence as best we have it at the moment, is quite conclusive. I put it that way because at this very book bears out things that may be changing. A small but growing number of Black love experts for Black men are coming online, and it remains to be seen as to whether they will be able to make any headway. At the very least, Black men, like all men, want to know how to get laid in as quick as a manner as possible, and with clear and present evidence that our white pickup artist brethren have borne out. There's a market for that sort of thing. We'll see if the same will hold true for the brothers. The Black love machine has literally made billions of dollars selling mostly Black women the idea that love in Black America is alive and well, despite all the evidence to the contrary. I shouldn't be too hard on the ladies, since Black Americans overall cling to a romanticized view of ourselves, and which manifests in many ways, from song and dance to culture and food to books and film, far outside the confines of, quote, Black love itself. As we go further into the post-civil rights era of the 21st century, as the ties that bound us all together continue to loosen, there will, I suspect, continue to be strong market for the way we were. Although strictly speaking, the Black love machine would entail the de facto Black relationship expert business in form of books and associated media over the past few decades. Its antecedents reach back quite a bit further or farther than that. For example, upscale Black female magazine Essence. You guys know the Black magazine Essence, right? Everybody's read Essence, I hope. For example, the upscale Black female magazine Essence has been discussing these issues going back to the 1980s and earlier. Films like Claudine, made in the mid-1970s, is yet another example. Taken together, the Black love machine has taken in an estimated $100.5 billion, with a B, US dollars and counting. That's right, that's not a typo. That's a lot of money. And as anyone who lives in a place like America knows, once something shows profitability, everybody and their grandmamas trying to cash in. As I've said, the idea of Black love is quite a powerful one, but the reality of it is quite a different kettle of fish, all of which raises the question, what happened? Where did we go wrong? At the risk of beating a dead horse, it's important to take a look back to the 1960s and the 1970s, a period of great upheaval, turmoil, and change in Black America. Of course, the civil rights movement was at its height, but there were other external forces at play that had brought us to the place where there can be an industrial complex that has and continues to generate billions of dollars a year on the idea, the hope that a Black love, quote unquote, will endure. The anti-Vietnam War movement was on the rise, reaching its apex in the 1970s with the Nixon era. There was a women's movement, originally conceived by middle-class suburban white women, but quickly drew the attention and interest of the emergent Black woman. Freely liberated from the shackles of Jim Crow and now taking on what they saw as a particular kind of sexism within Black America itself. There was the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision, and before that, the invention of the pill. The pill, ladies. And even within the aforementioned civil rights movement, it had changed from the heady days of the historic March on Washington in the early part of the 1960s. By the end of the decade, Martin Luther King's peaceful message of justice and coexistence with whites had transformed into a militant, defiant tone of Black power, urged on by nationwide rioting in the wake of Martin Luther King's assassination. All of the aforementioned is a matter of public historical record, but what is often lost in the remembrance of this period is how it impacted us personally, relationally. I've often observed the tendency on the part of many of us that the personal and relational are or should be subordinate to the bigger fish to fry, like racism, and that these concerns should be at the very least put on hold. And that's exactly what we did. In the name of righting the wrongs of the past, Black relationships fell apart. Sidebar. In the name of righting the wrongs for the past, Black relationships, men and women, fell apart. The proof of this is easily seen in a raft of statistics, research, and data. From the late 1960s through the early part of this century, the Black marital rate plunged from its high in the mid-century to an all-time low today. Quote, Black marriages in America, blackdemographics.com. That's a source. Sidebar. I want everybody to go open up your browser. I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to open up your browser and go to blackdemographics.com. I want you to bookmark this. I want you to bookmark this. I reference a lot of my stats. You know, I'm all about stats and data. That way I don't have to lose arguments. I want everybody to run over to blackdemographics.com. Bookmark that website. Ladies, gentlemen, bookmark that website, blackdemographics.com. You want to know where Shan gets his stats from? Whenever I get into a dispute with somebody and they usually, or somebody is out there just arbitrarily throwing out numbers and I jump up and I'm like, no, that's bullshit. What are you talking about? That's not what the census said, and that's not what the CDC said. I pull my stuff, a lot of it, from blackdemographics.com. It's not like I'm doing the research myself, you guys. So where am I getting it from? That's the website. So now that you guys have the power, now that you have the knowledge, you have the power. All right, let's continue. It should also be pointed out that Blacks were married at a rate higher than whites, and at the height of Jim Crow to boot. The out-of-wedlock birth rate, which was always a bit higher for Blacks than whites throughout the previous century, was at the start of the 1960s at around 20%. By the start of the 21st century, it had more than tripled. Ouch. True, marriage for all Americans, and especially whites, has gone down as well, and the rate of out-of-wedlock births has risen significantly since the early 60s. But the fact remains that these numbers are far and away worse for Black Americans. There's simply no getting around it. And while there have been numerous attempts at explaining these sobering facts away by pinning the tail on the Jim Crow donkey and the Black love machine says otherwise, it's hard to explain away the sheer degree of strife and acrimony between Black men and women, including those who are doing well in a supposedly lingering racist society. The excellent read, Don't Blame It on Rio, the real deal behind why men go to Brazil for sex, is a powerful case in point. Following the lead of Northwestern University academic Mary Patillo, who is a widely recognized expert on the Black middle class, Jewel Woods carefully documents the views of Black men and women along dating and mating lines, and the results are not pretty. I'm just getting all kind of text messages. Hold on. Hey, Uncle Shannon. Got my nephews texting me. All right, hold on. Where we at? Are not pretty. Now, despite Woods' explanations for what we clearly read in the pages of his book, it is simply tough to square the idea that a legacy of slavery is to account for how and why successful Black men and women just can't get along, especially when Black Americans under the heel of Jim Crow itself were more married than whites, the freest people in American society. So what happened? In a word, freedom. Sidebar, what he's saying is, we can't blame slavery for why Black men and Black women ain't getting along. In fact, if we gonna reference slavery, we were together more then than we are now. So we can't keep pointing to Jim Crow era. We can't keep pointing to slavery when it was them times that we were together and more tight-knit than ever before. Now, we're freer than ever and we're falling apart. So what happened? In a word, freedom. Freedom happened. Blacks were, as a result of racism in its various guises, forced to be with each other. But when the freedoms that came with the various movements of the 1960s and the 1970s rolled along with the historic Loving versus Virginia High Court decision. You guys remember Loving, sidebar, you remember Loving versus Virginia, right? That was where at one point it was illegal to interracially marry. It was illegal to interracially marry. And a white man was in love with a black woman. And they took it to the Supreme Court and they overturned it. They overturned that law. That white man was in love with his black woman. And so that was the case of the Loving versus Virginia High Court decision. Black Americans increasingly found that they no longer needed each other. Black people realized that they no longer needed each other. Black flight began to occur, and it didn't just start in the form of better off black families heading for sometimes white suburbs. It occurred on the more interpersonal level as well. Simply put, black men and women found that they wanted different things, that they had different ideas about what living your best life even means, what it looks like, and most importantly, who should call the shots in the attainment of it. Black women, with their increased educational, career, and reproductive freedoms, saw fit to flex their muscles and spread their wings in the service of their own ideas, needs, and interests, and the official striking down of anti-miscegenation laws gave black men the ability to consider mates more amenable to what their ideas of a good life looks like. As a result, black men and women, the very core of Black America itself, began to come apart. A very cruel irony, huh? Nor is this something unique to Black American society. Indeed, studies have shown that around the world, that as men and women are freer to choose the lives they want, they tend to want different things. And that these divergences in career and lifestyle can even be documented on the political front, both in white and Black America. Although a century ago, blacks voted solidly Republican, for the past half century or so, blacks have given their political support to the Democrat Party, with its strongest showing to date being the election of Barack Obama, who received nearly 100% of the black vote. But with his successor, Donald Trump, things began to change. An estimated 15% of black men in particular turned out for the GOP, followed by the strong support for Trump by famous black men such as rapper and super producer Kanye West and NFL and blaxploitation legend Jim Brown. Trump now enjoys somewhere over 40% of black male support that, should it translate into votes at the polls this coming fall, will mean a landslide win for Trump and the GOP, not seen since Reagan's landslide win over Mondale in the 1980s. Now, we all know that didn't happen. They threw a monkey wrench in the system. They threw Kamala Harris in there, and that suddenly snapped people out of it. And a lot of black women convinced their black men to vote Democrat because, they just wanted a sister in there, no matter what, whether it was good for us or bad. That's a whole nother discussion. Let's continue. Of course, my overview is simplified. And as I am sure I will be reminded by some, even inaccurate, because I failed to account for the myriad of details and nuances inherent in the Black American story. A case in point can be made for the simple fact that the rising tide of the freedom movements of the past hasn't lifted all boats equally. My response to the critics is to simply say, name me the book that has taken all of these issues into account on the same topic that I'm writing about here. Because I am more than willing to go on record in saying that until such evidence is presented, I will stand on mine being the most pointed on the matter to date. If for no other reason, then it's true. No matter how much we may try to deny it, in short, what happened to Black love is that the various movements of the latter 20th century worked. In fact, they just might have worked a little too well. And as we wait, and we as a people are still very much grappling with what all that means. Hence, my argument, while the great Black American scholar and civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois was correct to say that the problem for the Negro of the 20th century was the color line. Today, it is the sobering reality that Black male and female simply do not get along. Today, it is the sobering reality that the Black male and female simply do not get along for whatever reason. Let's continue. It is within this context, in the years since the freedom movements of the 60s and the 70s, that the Black love machine will come into being, and over roughly the past few decades has given Black women in particular, and Black America more generally, an almost matrix-like experience, a kind of contrived notion of who we were and what we can be. Once again, reality intrudes. A look at the big players of the Black love machine. Let me pause real quick. I want to turn my camera brightness up. That got me a little too dark. Just had to do a quick camera adjustment, you guys. All right, let's continue. A look at the big players of the Black love machine. Let's look at the big players, you guys, of the Black love machine. Everybody pay attention. While it would be impossible for me to document in detail every player on the board that has made up the Black love machine today, I do think it is important to give a mini sketch of some of the biggest names in the field for the benefit of my readers. The list is by no means meant to be taken as the final word, and it is, by definition, a subjective selection. But what I hope to convey to the reader, and that's you guys listening to Shan, is the sense of what the Black love machine is in its operation and practice, though some of its biggest and most recognizable names to the Black American public. So, with that said, here we go. We're getting all these messages. Red Pill Hustle. Shout out to Red Pill Hustle. Oprah Winfrey, high priestess of Black love. Of all people I studied and researched for this book, I would have to say that Oprah is the most interesting, believe it or not, and quite for the reasons one might conventionally think either. Sure, her personal story, her rise to fame and so forth is by now the stuff of legend. She's become a household name and is among the most wealthy and influential people in the history of humanity. But what fascinates me most about Oprah is her ability to use subtlety and misdirection with which to make a big impact. Because her audience is pretty much all female, men may not fully appreciate this about Oprah. Women are much more indirect and subtle in their dealings and interactions with others than men are. Ladies, you guys paying attention? This is why this book is good for women too. Women are much more indirect and subtle in their dealings and interactions with others than men are, all things being equal, right? And Oprah's entire career, especially when it comes to relationship matters, has been one where she has gotten the best results when she's subtle and indirect. It's the makings of a great seducer. And believe it or not, Oprah is in a lot of ways just that. Just go check out Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction if you disagree. Oprah, despite never marrying, she never married Stedman. Oprah has never been married, ladies and gentlemen. She's with Stedman, but she's never married him. Despite never marrying and having at best a spotty, quote, or questionable relationship history herself, she has successfully held herself out as something of a, quote, power broker of Black love, end quote, all with little to no challenge or pushback. Nobody argues when Oprah talks about relationships. A heck of a feat, ladies and gentlemen, I must say. To this very day, Oprah has succeeded in garnering the rapt attention of Black women viewers on her Oprah Winfrey Network to hear the various voices of Oprah weigh in on what, quote, Black love looked like, especially from the Black female perspective, and often to the chagrin of the rank and file Black men or Black man. And although Oprah, and by extension, Black women themselves, have been saying the same things today that they were more than a quarter of a century ago, there's little in the way of message abating or slowing down. As of this writing in late February 2020, Oprah's star has dimmed a bit due to the scandals involving Gayle King, her best friend, right? Everybody knows Gayle King is Oprah's best friend. And the recent conviction of Harvey Weinstein at the hands of the hashtag #MeToo movement. And it remains to be seen where things go from here. But there's little doubt that the Black love business would not be where it is today without her. Love her or hate her, you gotta respect Oprah's hustle. Next is Iyanla Vanzant, Black love's fairy godmother. Some of you guys have heard of Iyanla Vanzant. Some of you haven't. In fact, Iyanla Vanzant had a show on Oprah's network running for 10 years. She just recently stopped it. And she's an author. And Iyanla Vanzant is the woman who went against Shahrazad Ali on the Donahue show some 30 odd years ago. Anyways, that's another story. Continuing with my, quote, First Lady's approach here, it's fitting that I would follow up the sketch on Oprah with another name that is closely associated with hers. One is Miss Iyanla Vanzant. If Oprah is Black love's high priestess, Iyanla would be its fairy godmother. The Yoruba priestess turned lawyer turned lifestyle guru has been a staple on OWN, Oprah Winfrey Network. That's what OWN stands for. OWN for years now, with her hugely popular reality show, Iyanla, Fix My Life. The premise of the show is simply enough. Get a bunch of highly dysfunctional Black folk. This is what the show was about. Get a bunch of highly dysfunctional Black folk, often a mixed group of Black men and women, put them all into one big house and bring in Iyanla to act as a kind of surrogate big mama. It all makes for an interesting show. If watching a hot mess is your thing, it all makes for an interesting show if watching a hot mess is your thing. Oh, I'm just reading. Okay. Like Oprah, Iyanla has quite the colorful relationship past herself. She's been married and divorced to the same Black man twice. Didn't know that. Thank you. Iyanla has been married to the same Black man and divorced to that same man twice. And while she doesn't specifically address, quote, Black love topics and themes directly, what she does address, which could perhaps be best described as problems in the Black family, certainly encompasses the Black love end of it. She's written several books, even one specifically aimed at Black men, believe it or not. But she's perhaps best known for her Value in the Valley, a kind of aspirational, inspirational book that Black women really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over. Seriously, Black women love that living your best life stuff. Take a look at Shonda Rhimes. A Year for Yes for more on this point. Because of Iyanla's unique positioning in the conversation obtaining on Black love topics, coupled with her sheer longevity in the game, I consider Iyanla to be among the Black love machine's biggest players, if only by default. Next up is Michael Baisden. He's the Black love's maintenance man. No discussion about the Black love machine will be complete with at least a passing mention of the one and only Mr. Michael Baisden himself. His quote-unquote maintenance man novel went from the trunk of his car to New York Times bestseller list in the 1990s, in the late 90s and early 2000s, and Baisden hasn't looked back since. While Bazin isn't known for being a relationship expert per se, his aforementioned fictional work, coupled with many years of many years on the air discussing Black love issues, makes him, in my mind, pretty damn close. You can still catch his show today, though it's no longer syndicated around the country, and the evergreen Black love topics that he routinely discussed like clockwork every month only goes to show the strength of his brand as well as that of Black Love Machine itself. And then we have, ladies and gentlemen, which we all know, Mr. Steve Harvey. He is Black Love's Big Daddy. I think one of the reasons why longtime funny man Steve Harvey got so much pushback on Black social media when he came out with his now classic Black love work, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Everybody remember that book? Some of you guys seen the movie, right? Sidebar. Is because, let's face it, he's not seen as the right image for a Black love relationship expert. Something that I go more into with the last two Black men on this list. On top of that, Steve Harvey has perhaps the most colorful relationship history of everyone on this list, with, at last count, 3 marriages under his belt and an admitted history of infidelity to boot. Nevertheless, his Act Like a Lady hit on the New York Times bestseller list and remained there for a ridiculous amount of time, burnishing Harvey as the real deal when it came to this Black love thing. He's gone on to write a number of sequels to the book that made him a household name, along with a slew of stints on television. And of course, he's most infamous for his 90-day rule, something that seems to get both Black men and women alike giving him the side eye. That 90-day rule, right? Who all follows the 90-day rule? Put a 1 in the chat if you follow the 90-day rule. Let's continue. I was going to discuss that in this book, but because of space, it will have to wait for the next one. Besides, given what I've got planned next, that topic will be a perfect fit, so stay tuned. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, Hill Harper, the last of Black America's Black love race men. Hailing from the middle America with Clark Kent, aw shucks demeanor, leading man looks, Hollywood career success, and Ivy League pedigree, Hill Harper is just what the doctor ordered for the lovelorn ladies of Black America. With the possible exception of Harper's relative lack of height, he's only 5'9". Of all the Black love authors, experts, and personalities on this list, Hill Harper is perhaps the most successful. If by that term is meant by the number of books on the New York Times bestsellers list. The Conversation. I've never read the book, The Conversation. Sidebar. You guys, anybody have the book, The Conversation? I've never read it. And I noticed that nobody put a number 1 in the chat. So I guess you guys don't really follow that 90-day rule. Shout out to you. The Conversation book being among them. And actually, Hill Harper had other works hit the New York Times list before the one he wrote to specifically address Black love concerns, all of which goes to the biggest point I want to make about him. Hill Harper is actually what Black scholars would call a race man, a Black man who sees it as his solemn duty to present a good image to the world and to assist other Blacks in doing well, showing them the ropes as to how to succeed in American life and so forth. It is not at all unusual to hear Harper talk about, quote unquote, saving the Black family and so forth. Although he, like most Black men over 40 today, is a confirmed bachelor and loves Black women so much that the last time I checked, he was with an Asian woman. But since he has adopted a Black boy from hard Scrabble background, his Black man cred remains in good standing with the ladies. Shame that all his really good work in The Conversation, that book, fell on ladies' deaf ears. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, and I want everybody to pay attention, Mr. Derrick Jackson. Mr. Derrick Jackson. He is Black love's Barack Obama. Now, if Hill Harper is the cookie cutter image of what what Black women most desire in a man, Derek Jackson would be that on steroids, at least on the surface. Like Harper, he too hails from a part of the country that is associated with genteel charm and close-knit family roots. Additionally, he holds a degree from the venerable HBCU Tuskegee and says all the right things Black women want to hear. Oh, man. Derek Jackson. Ladies, you before the scandal this year, because this book was written before Derek Jackson got caught. Sidebar. This book was written before Derek Jackson got caught up. But before he got caught up, you ladies love to hear some Derek Jackson. Don't front like you always didn't like him, because y'all are just riding the bandwagon now. Don't throw him under the bus now, ladies. Derek Jackson said everything you women wanted to hear. He was your hero. Don't front. Let's continue. The fact that his literary efforts or talent don't hold a candle to Harper's, to say nothing of their respective overall resumes, is more than made up for in Jackson's mere presence. He is an imposing one at 6'5" and built like a tank, and the ladies don't much seem to mind the trade-off at all. He's got close to double-digit numbers of self-published books to his credit, his best known of them being Don't Forget Your Crown, ladies. How many of y'all women got that book? Don't Forget Your Crown. A manual that purports to both instruct the ladies on the importance of self-love, while at the same time supposedly debunking all the nonsense in today's dating and mating world. Having read the book in depth and very carefully, I can honestly say that the best thing about this book is the cover. And I strongly suspect many of the ladies know it too. Another reason why Jackson is an interesting character study is because, in a very real sense, he is the representation of what Black love machine looks like in the 21st century. Everyone else on the list mentioned are either baby boomers, like Oprah and Ayanna and Steve Harvey and Michael Baisden, or Generation X, like Shannon or Hill Harper. Meaning that Jackson, who is a millennial, would represent his own generation. Indeed, aside from his workout routine, right, the most impressive thing about him is his formidable social media footprint, which includes millions of followers on Facebook and Instagram. And indeed, there is a whole new crop of Black love experts coming along in a very similar vein as Derek Jackson, perhaps the best known as of this writing being guys Jackson has personally worked with over the past year, such as Ace Metaphor. Y'all know who Ace Metaphor is. I noticed that Ace Metaphor is starting to change his message too, right? Have you guys noticed that? Some of these people are changing even Derek Jackson himself is changing their message ever since that scandal last year. Or Stephen Labousse, with Black social media now taking center stage as the premier medium by which Black men and women talk or argue, really, with each other. And with Jackson at the moment being the king of the hill, it will be very interesting to see where things go from here with both. On another note, I see Derek Jackson as being akin to Barack Obama, the nation's first Black president. Both check off all the boxes for their respective constituencies. They're tall, they're good looking, they're highly credentialed. They both strike just the right tone and say just the right things at the right time. And both present hope and change. However, in the case of the latter, as the time wore on, Barack Obama showed himself to be in over his head at some points and unable to deliver at others. In the end, Black folks who voted for Barack Obama to the tune of nearly 100% were deeply delusioned with Obama and had expected a lot more of him than he actually did, in large part because of his relative lack of experience when compared to previous presidents. But another reason was because Obama had a way of presenting himself to people, Black people, that allowed them to project what they wanted onto him. Recall my earlier remarks about Oprah, who she wholeheartedly endorsed Barack Obama. I see Derek Jackson in much the very same way. A kind of empty, albeit very good-looking suit that over time threatens not being able to deliver for his constituency. I'm getting tongue-tied. The largest cohort of least married and partnered women in the country. For more on this point, check out Is Marriage for White People by Ralph Richard Banks. A quick parallel will suffice. You will recall when Barack Obama was more or less forced to address the number of racial incidents that occurred in the country. Harvard academic Henry Louis, Skip, Gates being locked up for trying to break into his own house. Remember that? Right? The death, some would argue the murder, of young Trayvon Martin. How about the rioting rampages that took place in Ferguson and Baltimore? To say nothing of Obama's personal scandal in the form of his spiritual advisor, Reverend Jeremiah A. Wright. Remember that, right? He had to disown him. In all of these instances, Barack Obama looked very uncomfortable, not at all like his usual smooth, adroit self. He struggled to find the words that would mollify both black while at the same time not alienating the whites. We saw how that turned out. In the summer of 2019, Derek Jackson had his own Obama moment in the form of singer and reality TV star Miss K. Michelle. Sitting together at a popular black radio station in Atlanta, Georgia, K. Michelle made for a very tough nut to crack for Jackson. And he clearly struggled with making any headway with her. Sure, you could say that was a one-off incident, that, quote, all black women aren't like K. Michelle, etc. Fair enough. Nevertheless, it proved that in real time, in front of potentially millions of onlookers, when the heat was on Derek Jackson, just like Barack Obama, they kind of fell flat. Derek Jackson's chief problem is that Barack Obama's... No, I'm sorry. Let me read that again. Derek Jackson's chief problem is that of Barack Obama's. Just in black love terms, how can he continue to tell black women what they want to hear while at the same time not alienating so many black men? It's a problem that in the recent past, Jackson wasn't, quote unquote, bothered about, but how will that work moving forward? At some point, he will have to start delivering for his core constituency, hope. After all, can only go so far. And baby, it's cold outside. If Obama's history and performance is anything to go by, all indications that Derek Jackson will meet a similar fate in black love terms, time will tell. And guess what? Sidebar, time did tell. Time did tell. Look what happened after this book was released. I mean, it's almost prophetic, right? It's almost prophetic. So here we are. From Oprah to Derek Jackson, the black love machine's past and possible future. Wow. But there is another aspect of black love machine, one that until now has never been examined anywhere and certainly not in print. What's the hidden aspect of the black love machine, you may ask? The answer will be revealed in the next chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to chapter 2. What y'all talking about in the chat? Am I missing anything? Let me know if I'm missing anything. Y'all having fun? Y'all paying attention? Cool. All right, everybody listen up. We're moving on to chapter 2. What is chapter 2? The pro-black game. The pro-black game. This chapter is shorter than the last one. Only 15 pages. Let's knock them out. What Quafinino says, I didn't think I would like this read, Shannon. Not being negative, but because you're reading it, I'm listening. My man. He said, look, Shannon, I didn't even know I was going to like this book because you're reading it and probably the way I'm reading it. listening. Thank you, Quafanino. That's my guy. For those that don't know, Quafanino is my guy. Javar is like, hoorah. All right, guys, let's go. Let's knock out chapter 2. Let me take a sip, clear my throat. Am I black enough for you? That's what Billy Paul said. If the black love machine sells a vision of fantasy, hope, romanticism, and nostalgia to mainly black women, what I like to call the pro-black game only builds on this premise, but with a twist. You see, while the former sells the dream along individual lines to black women, the latter seeks to do so on a larger, wider scale, a community initiative, if you will. And while it may seem counterintuitive to suggest that the two are linked, upon further inspection, a bit of introspection, and a dollop of common sense, it all comes together. No wonder such a topic has never been written about in such a way. Pro-blacks. I'll say that again. Pro-blacks. Pro-blacks, as they are currently referred to today, have been around in various guises going back at least a century to the time of Marcus Garvey's United Negro Improvement Association movement, which went down in proverbial flames when its leader, Marcus Garvey himself, was first imprisoned and then deported from the United States of America for committing multiple counts of mail fraud, a federal offense. Since then, they have become a staple of mainly inner city black American life and includes, but is in no way limited to, the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam, Dr. Malachi's York's movement, the Hebrew Israelites, we all know them, right? Of varying stripe. I just saw them standing on the corner of Crenshaw and Degnan. Well, no, Crenshaw and Stocker. They were standing on the corner. Crenshaw and Stocker had the mic set up. They normally wear purple, but that day they were wearing something else like a gray. And it was about 9-10 of them out there, and they was speaking. They're always around here in LA, you know. So I saw the Hebrew Israelites. Also, people like Malana Karanga, who was my former teacher. Sidebar: Karanga was my former teacher. I went to Cal State Long Beach. I graduated from University of Cal State Long Beach, where Karanga was the professor in the Black Studies department. He was my teacher. In fact, Karanga's office is around the corner from my house. I could walk to it and I'll be there in 3 minutes. His headquarters, Karanga's headquarters, is around the corner from my house. I can walk over there in 3 minutes. But Merlana Karanga's Kwanzaa outfit, the Black Panther Party of the late 1960s through the 1980s, and others. Now, what they all these organizations, right? All these pro-black, as we call it, organizations, what they all have in common is the idea of building a better black people through schools and other institutions that often include business efforts like Buy Black, right? Recycle the black dollar, right? Efforts to protest real or perceived acts of racism and discrimination and so forth. In the more modern age, many pro-blacks are often derisively referred to as hoteps. We all know that word. Or worse, ashy ink niggas. Often by black women in reference to black men who designate themselves as some iteration of pro-black. These are the terms, sidebar, these are the terms that oftentimes black women give black men because, you know, the women may not believe that the black man is doing anything. She just think he a ashy ink nigga. You know, he just a hotep, right? This is because in more recent years, younger black women have begun to publicly voice their critiques and cynicism of what they see as black men who adopt the mantle of caring for black people and the comunità as thinly veiled attempt to merely get in the ladies' pants. A lot of women, sidebar, today think these ashy ink niggas is only being pro-black so they can get some pussy. They ain't really trying to help. That's what they believe. A lot of women are saying, nah, you know what? All they want to do is fuck. They ain't really trying to help us. They just doing this so they can get some. Because they ain't got nothing else going on in life. That's what they believe. Igbo Quinn is laughing. I'm just saying. You might not be laughing at me. Oh, yo, you guys talking about my shirt. All right, let's continue. And there would be there on particular point. Okay. Indeed, if one simply takes the time to do the research on the aforementioned names, the organizations that I mentioned a minute ago, right? It won't be long before they will find copious amounts of evidence in support of many disgruntled Black women's claims. If the people were to investigate the organizations that we just talked about, you're going to find some truth in what the Black women are claiming. Nevertheless, the pro-Black game lives on and hangs on almost as strongly as Black Love Machine, and for much of the same reasons. And while like the aforementioned Black Love Machine, there are Black female players on the field. It is undeniable that the major movers and shakers in the latter pro-Black game are overwhelmingly Black male, and for good reason. Because to be quote unquote pro-Black is to give so many Black women who are the least partnered and the most baby mamaed and the most desperate hope. In this case, hope for a better Black tomorrow. Too bad that better Black tomorrow, it never comes. It's hard to say exactly as to how much the pro-Black business has and continues to make in sheer dollar amount, because it's hard to track the financial figures. But it would not surprise me in the least if the number works out to be very close or possibly exceed that of Black Love Machine's $100 billion over roughly the past 40 years or so. That's a lot of hope, huh? If the appeal of Black Love Machine is a battalion of conspicuously handsome Black men who are well-dressed, well-spoken, and say all the right things to make the ladies swoon, the pro-Black machine is shot through with Black men who are about saving the Black family and are about fighting white supremacy in its various guises. Indeed, a major factor at work here that often flies right over most people's head is the fact that when a pro-Black guy talks about these things or some other form of doing something for the community, Black women interpret that as him being a Black man who is standing up for Black women in the Black family. No matter how downright ridiculous the idea actually might be once one gets the pixie dust out of her eyes, this is because in the minds of many Black women, ladies, I'm talking to you. Sidebar, ladies, pay attention. The reason why Black women interpret these pro-Black men as standing up for Black women in the Black family, no matter how downright ridiculous his idea is, it's because in the minds of many Black women, a lot more than any of us are openly willing to admit, the Black community, in essence, means Black women and children / young people. The Black community in most people's minds is really Black women and children. Black men are seen at best. Black men are seen at best as useful complement. Black men are seen at best in the Black community as a useful complement. Not a necessity, a complement, an accessory of sorts. To borrow a phrase from Catherine Eden in her critically acclaimed Promises I Can Keep, Why Poor Women Put Motherhood Before Marriage. And at worst, that's at best, that he's just an accessory. At worst, black men are inimical as the supposed pernicious white supremacy, if not more so. He hit me with a tongue twister on that one, but I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Basically, black men, when it comes to the term, sidebar, when it comes to the term black community, it's considered really just black women and the children. Black men at best is just an accessory. It's just, you know what I'm saying? As he put it, a useful complement at best, and at worst, he's just shit no different than being a white supremacist. He hates black people. He hates black women. Lest some think that I'm being one-sided or otherwise unfair to our pro-black brethren, I say the same thing about them that I do about the guys that make up the bulk and mass of the black love machine. We must judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. As noted above, pro-blacks have been around for at least a century and have precious little to show for it. And worse, just how many black people, especially black women, have been built in the process. The very thing that makes pro-black guys so appealing is also what makes them so tragic. That they are selling the idea of quote unquote building something in the community that is at best tenuous and often downright fraudulent. Sidebar, can we name any fraudulent pro-black hotep fellas out there that seem to have taken money for their own personal gain? I ain't naming no names. Can you guys think of any pro-black hotep brothers out there that's claiming that they're building the community, and it seems like all the money that they've been collecting is just going to their own personal gain? You know, insert the Jeopardy theme. All right, let's continue. Without question, there will be those who will be able to cite thus and to shoal in such, but they are the exceptions that prove the rule being discussed here. No matter how you slice it, there's simply no getting around it. In the main, the track record of the real achievement on the part of pro-blacks is nil. And yet, many in the community keep hope alive. Basically, over a century of all these pro-black people, black organizations, black people getting together to build the community and work on us. And we got all these different, from Karank, we got all these different organizations and all these, and we ain't got shit to show for it. What do we got to show for it? What do we got to show it? But the community keeps hope alive. Why am I even bothering to write about all this in a book that proposes to assist today's black man to navigate the 21st century for dating and mating black American landscape? Well, because thanks to not only a long tradition of this sort of thing going on, but now joined by the democratization of high tech and social media internet, it is wise for today's black man to know the lay of the land. Moreover, I noted earlier that this specific topic has, at least to my knowledge, and I consider myself very well read, never been discussed in print before. I consider no discussion of where we are along these lines to be complete without a discussion about this aspect of Black American life. And even what I've done here is peanuts when compared to what should be done about the matter. Perhaps that will be the basis for a future book on my part. Time will tell. Until then, and in line with the above, it is useful for today's black man to know what I refer to as, quote unquote, the iron rules of being pro-black. Should one wish to be successful in the enterprise, they are taken from one of my more popular live show podcasts of late. And listener response was so overwhelmingly positive, with many requests to include it in this book, that you are reading the ideas in written form. I didn't know that YouTube even had live going on that far back, but okay. Okay. Um, Off the top of my head, and I live on the air, I came up with the following 5 iron rules for any black man. All right, off the top of my head, and live on the air, this is what he did before, right? I came up with the following 5 iron rules for any black man who wishes to don the mantle of being pro-black. The 5 iron rules of pro-blackness if you are a black man. Fellas, this is for you. Listen up. Number 1, being pro-black only applies if you are a black male. Black women being in the rather low position they're in. Why does everybody want to call? Black women being in the rather low position they're in terms of the open American and even international mating market, are seen as largely exempt from the idea that being pro-black means that your life is circumscribed in certain ways. Because black men are in a much better position on the mating market than black women, all things being equal, being pro-black is seen by black women as seen by black women and a not insignificant number of black men as a kind of sacrifice that a pro-black man must make that a pro-black woman does not. For example, a pro-black man's credibility is seriously called into question should he get married, mate with, or even date, or to even be too friendly with a non-black and especially a white woman, right? Let me read that again. For example, a pro-black man, his credibility is called into question if he is married to, dating, or even too damn friendly with a white woman or somebody who's not black. Whereas there are numerous examples of famous, notable black women with non-black and especially white men and hubbies who nevertheless do not hesitate to weigh in on black issues and even chastise black men for real or perceived perfidy and misbehavior. Notable examples of such black women are Alice Walker, the late Maya Angelou, and of course, in our time, Lonnie Love. Did you guys know that they were not married to black men? Did you know that they were swirl? Thus, the first iron rule of being pro-black, the first iron rule, fellas, of being pro-black is that the iron rules only apply to black men, not black women. The first iron rule of being pro-black is that the iron rules only apply to brothers, not sisters. Yet another reason why this is due to the sobering fact that, like the black love machine, it is largely black women who are paying the bills. They buy the products, they support the various building initiatives, and they buy the tickets to the various events that pro-black guys host and produce. And as with any business, the customer is always right. Black women, be it in the form of supporting the black love machine or be it in the form of supporting of the pro-black game, the black women are buying a fantasy, a vision of what their ideal black male mate would be. And a pro-black brother who, quote unquote, talks black but sleeps white, if he talks black but he sleeps white, just pours an ice bucket of water on all of that. Since black women are paying the bills basically in the main, pro-black guys have to play the role. Please note that one is hard-pressed to find many notable examples of the reverse. It's going to be hard to find many notable examples of the reverse, where black women are pro-blacks selling products, goods, and services to a largely black male clientele. Sidebar. Can you guys think of any pro-black women who have a large customer base of black men? Damn. I can't think of one. Number 2, you must have an ADOS black-looking black woman as the public mate. ADOS. You know what ADOS stands for? That's the African descendants of slaves. African descendants of slaves. ADOS. What is ADOS? ADOS is American black people. Not Barbados, not Ghanaian, not somebody from Nigeria, not the Jamaicans, not them. The American descendants of slaves. Shannon from Los Angeles. The homies that was born and raised down south. The brothers from New York, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, Florida, LA, South Central. That's ADOS. Not Mr. Kadua from Ghana. Not him. All right. Number 2, you must have an ADOS black-looking black woman as a black male. As a black mate. Fellas, let's go back. The 5 iron rules of pro-blackness, if you're a man, number 1 is being pro-black only applies if you're a black male. And number 2, you got to have an American black sister. If you want to be pro-black, you can't have a white woman. You can't even have an African black woman. You can't have a woman from France, a black woman from France. You got to have a sister from Compton. All right. Following up on the above, this iron rule is very much an extension of the aforementioned. Whereas in the above case, a pro-black guy can talk black but sleep white. In this case, this idea is extended to any woman, including black ones that don't present themselves as homegrown. This means that they can't be atypically black, too lighter skinned, too exotical looking, or somehow in some way fall out of the mainstream of black American womanhood, such as being Afro-Latina, as an example. It is preferable that she be straight up ADOS, African descendant of slaves, an acronym coined by the social media personalities Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore to mean American descendants of slaves. I keep saying African. American descendants of slaves, which means that both her parents have to be descendants of African slaves in this country, not in the Caribbean, not in Jamaica, not in Puerto Rico. This country. Because who a pro-black man mates with is a very important barometer of his commitment to the community, which, remember, is a stand-in term for black women and her kids. Black women who would be pro-black guys' chief customer base are watching such men like a hawk for signs that he may say one thing, but put his nether regions someplace else when no one is looking. Ideally, his mate is from the blacker sections of the USA, like the American South or Chicago, or be preferably darker skinned with the very black-looking black hair. Have some kids from a previous baby daddy. You know, that's what she got to have. She got to be a baby mama and have a couple baby daddies. And of course, a pleasingly plump. In short, the more such a black woman checks off the boxes in this short list of black femaleness, the better for the pro-black guy. You got to have an American sister, fellas. If you want to be pro-black man, you got to get a sister from Inglewood. That's the requirement. You're towing the, like my man says, you're towing the line if she's light skinned with long hair. Oh, no. You can't be pro-black if you got one of them, if you got an exotical, light skin, bright teeth, and bright gums, and curly long. No. You towing the line. Shout out to Anonymous for that one. A very famous example of this principle is in action would have to be our 44th president of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama Jr., according to his own writings and corroborated by those who knew him back then. Obama never dated a black woman until he met Michelle Robinson in the 1990s in Chicago. And it is widely accepted that a major reason why he suddenly stopped dating white women, whom he dealt with all his life at that point, to do a 180 to Michelle was, at least in part, good for his political ambitions. His political instincts were borne out when he came seemingly out of nowhere to win the election of 2008 and again in 2012. The first black man to do so in American history to date. A major reason for his success was due to the woman he chose as a wife. Had he gone with any of the white women he dated prior to Michelle Obama, or had gotten with a nominally black-looking woman like his former advisor, Valerie Jarrett, black women across the country would have given him the serious side eye. Why his wife look like that? Why he can't get no black woman? Black women across the nation would have given him a serious side eye and dismissed him. As it turns out, black women, especially those of Michelle's social, educational, and professional background, enthusiastically gave their approval of Obama's choice at the ballot box. For all potential pro-black guys out there reading this, take heed. Obama is your template and guiding star. Number 3, if you want to be a pro-black man, you must live in a black area anywhere on planet Earth. Because it is quite possible to earn a very nice living as a pro-black guy, the temptation to move or otherwise spend one's leisure time away from the community or / the hood is immense. In order to maintain one's street cred, though, you have to resist the urge towards black flight. Try living on the northern side of Atlanta. Buckhead is a good choice. Or in the Shaker Heights neighborhood of Ohio. Or maybe over in Prince George County in Maryland. You get the idea. As for the vacation spots, European tours and the like are out. You can't go on no European tours. You can't, not for vacation. Not if you're going to be pro-black. No. So what you got to do? You got to hit up the motherland. That's what you got to do. Or the next best thing, go to Brazil. Though you have to be careful with that one. You got to be careful with Brazil, fellas. Since quite a few black women weren't too keen on black men going there for reasons well explained and documented in Jewel Woods' 2008 Don't Blame It on Rio. Number 4, if you want to be a pro-black man. So now you know you got to be, remember the pro-black rules only apply to you, right? Being pro-black only applies if you're a black male, right? Don't apply to black women. They can marry a white woman. Black women can marry a white man and be pro-black all day long. They can talk on pro-black issues. They can even shame black men for doing shit that goes against the black community, all while she's married to a white man. That's black women have that pass. Black men, you don't got that pass. Black men, you better be married. Black men, you better be with black women. The black rules only apply to you. They don't apply to women. Number 2, you better marry an American black woman. You can't marry nobody that looks like she's mixed. You can't marry nobody that looks like she's from another. No. She got to look like she's from Atlanta. All right. The next thing is you got to live in a black area. You got to live in the hood. I know you want to move. I know you want to move to Beverly Hills. It's nice. You making money. You can afford a house over there. You want to move to Beverly Hills. You can't do it though. You got to go to Baldwin Hills. Sorry. You got to move to Ladera. You got to move to the Ladera Heights. You got to go up to View Park. You got View Park, Ladera, or Baldwin Hills. You get your house up there. You can't go to Beverly Hills. You just can't go. Sorry. Not if you're going to be pro-black. That's off limits. Okay? And then you can't even vacate in European countries. Take your ass to Africa when you want to go on vacation. All right? Remember that. Now, number 4, your kids must attend black schools, period. Your kids can't go to Beverly Hills High School. They can't go to Beverly Hills High School. They got to go to Crenshaw. They got to go to Washington Prep. They got to go to Dorsey. Your kids must attend black schools, period. Likewise, if you're pro-black and have kids, they must attend black schools. A very dicey proposition due to the simple fact that black schools, all things being equal, don't offer the same or superior educational quality that their white and private or parochial counterparts do. Yet another of the costs that come with being pro-black man. Again, note how this does not apply to the pro-black woman. This does not apply to the pro-black woman who can plausibly say that her kids can get a better education attending a white or otherwise non-black school due to her non-black or especially white male husband. Your kids, black men, will potentially be paying the high price of your commitment to the community in the form of badass classmates, up to no good, apathetic and or overwhelmed and or underqualified teachers, along with substandard gear and equipment, computers, laptops. Kids don't get that in the hood, right? But to pull your kids from these underperforming black schools and place them in a better white, non-black schools would be selling out and or betraying your people. It's hard to knock pro-black life, right? And the 5th thing to be a pro-black man in America, you must do business with black people no matter what. You got to do business with black people, period, if you want to be a pro-black man in America. And finally, the pro-black guy must do all of his business with black folk, from getting his and his family's clothes laundered to getting major business contracts done. Admittedly, a tall order. Anything less is, again, risking being seen as selling out your people, fleecing them in order to line your pockets and live off them like so many other scammers do. It doesn't matter that Black America currently suffers from a tremendous skill and ethics deficit for a host of very real reasons. All that matters if that you're a pro-black man and that you talk the talk, you are expected to walk the walk. Period. A very expensive proposition. When you think about it, try finding good, competent black men who can handle the work that Mexican illegals can. Yeah, I said it. Less than 30% of black college grads are MDs of any kind. And STEM, you can forget about it. Science, technology, engineering, and math. You can forget about it. Less than 10% of all black college grads today hold any kind of STEM degree. In fairness to the pro-black crowd, one major reason why they have so much trouble getting anything substantially done is due to the sheer lack of qualified blacks among us. And still, they are expected to soldier on and work with what they have. I don't envy these poor saps one bit. Now, a word about the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. A word about the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. I think somebody put his initials in the chat earlier. Now listen. If Derek Jackson is the Barack Obama of the Black Love Machine, then Dr. Umar Johnson is the Malcolm X 2.0. Striking an elegant pose, garbed in traditional African dress or a more Western-styled suit, bearded and handsome. Dr. Umar, as he is known, has been tearing it up on Black social media for easily the better part of the past decade, boasting a multitude of degrees, claiming to be a descendant of the great abolitionist and former slave Frederick Douglass, and hailing from the hometown of Philadelphia and having worked with Black kids, boys especially, in local Philly public schools. Dr. Umar has broken out of the pack of an also ran Black consciousness personalities, especially on the Black male side of the game. His biggest claim to fame has been his desire to build a school for Black boys, an already hotly contentious topic for reasons the venerable Sister Shahrazad Ali noted in her classic text, The Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, and seems to have hit a snag on that front about 5 years ago when it came to light that despite his public declarations of celibacy, he was keeping company with a conscious stripper, complete with flowing blonde wig and weave that she was wearing. Hey, at least she was a sister, right? Dr. Umar's fundraising efforts have been closely scrutinized by various Black social media watchers, with perhaps the most prolific of the bunch being one Lennon Honor, himself a member of the quote-unquote Hotep community. Mr. Honor even made a scathing documentary outlining Dr. Umar's fake faux pas regarding his Academy for Black Boys, and what Honor contends are outright frauds on Dr. Umar's part. Nevertheless, Dr. Umar remains a popular figure to the ladies. Quite a few even going so far as to be willing to be a second wife to him should he finally get the first, a common staple of quote-unquote Hotep discourse in the idea that due to whatever reasons, Black women should consider polygamy, an idea that's been around since before Sister Shahrazad Ali's time. Some have even speculated that Honor has unwittingly aided and abetted Dr. Umar's desirability amongst the ladies of Black America. It isn't all that hard to see how and why Dr. Umar would be such an item in the eyes of possibly millions of today's Black women. By definition, he ticks all or most of the boxes that Black women carry on their lists, explicit or otherwise. He's handsome, right? Dr. Umar, we're talking about. He's handsome. He's educated. He professes to care about the Black community and especially for Black boys of single Black mothers. But perhaps most of all is Dr. Umar's soothing words of comfort to Black women who haven't been able to grasp the brass ring, the wedding ring. Who haven't been, perhaps, where did I leave off? But perhaps the most of all, Dr. Umar's soothing words of comfort to all Black women who haven't been able to grasp a wedding ring, largely due to their own misdeeds, missteps, and mistakes. In a very real sense, Dr. Umar is Derek Jackson in a dashiki, cooing soothing words like queen in an everything's gonna be all right, it's not your fault, sister kind of way that strongly resonates with a resounding number of Black women. Dr. Umar Johnson appears to be going strong, despite repeated exhortations on the part of his detractors going, this is it for him this time. Just when one thinks the death blow has finally been dealt, Dr. Umar somehow manages to rise from the ashes like the proverbial phoenix and keeps right on getting up. If he has proven anything over the course of the second decade of the 21st century, Black American life, it is that Ungawa, Black power, is far from dead. But even with all, and by the way, he did get to school. Sidebar. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. He did get to school. Now it's under renovation and it's not open yet, but he did get to school. But even with all that I've laid out in these two opening chapters of this book, there is yet another form of Black love machine that is at work and in many ways even more pervasive and powerful than those discussed here. However, in that there isn't enough space to do the matter justice, and because I want to address it in a way that does, that will have to work for a future volume to be properly treated. Stay tuned. And that is chapter 2, my friends. We got 2 more chapters. These chapters are even shorter, so we're gonna knock those out. Shout out to everybody that's listening to Derek Jackson. Umar is Derek Jackson in the dashiki. I know that was funny. Shout out to everybody that's listening to your boy. Shout out to the 30 people that's listening and reading along with us. This is the Rich People Read Book Club here on YouTube. We read a book a month to educate ourselves and learn in the ways of the rich through the power of reading. So that's what we do. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you've ordered this book. Just tap the link in my description of this video, or I think at the top of the chat, if it's still pinned up there, and it'll take you straight to Amazon, straight to the link. You can purchase it. It's only $8 if you want the electronic version, or I suggest that everybody get the actual physical copy of the book. All right, let's move on to chapter 3, ladies and gentlemen. Let's knock it out. I'm getting a lot of text messages because today is Founders Day for Kappa Alpha Psi, so people are shouting me out. Yo to the noobs. All right, let's knock this one out. Question and answer with Mumia Obsidian Ali, the dating coach. Well, it's been barely a week since I have made the big announcement to the world that I, Mumia Obsidian Ali, would toss my Kangol into the ring and hang out a shingle as a dating coach. And oh my God, have the responses from hither and yon coming in hot and heavy. It seems everybody and they grandmama, shout out to the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, has something to say about my latest exploits, aims, and goals, and quite a bit of it uninspiring. Nevertheless, I welcome any and all opportunities to field questions from my erstwhile interlocutors. Never heard that word before. And I'm looking forward to, I got to see what that means. Hold on. Interlocutors is a noun, a person who takes part in a dialogue or conversation. Okay. I need to know that. And I'm looking forward to answering even more questions in the future. For now, though, the following are my responses to what seems to be the most commonly asked questions raised thus far in my budding career. Enjoy. Number 1, Obsidian. Questions for Obsidian. Hey, Obsidian, what got you, of all people, into the dating coach business? Are you kidding me? Well, the answer is a popular demand. Supply and demand. I mean, for years, Black women and men alike have been on me to provide solutions for the community, to provide mentoring for the youth, supposedly due to my being an elder, due to my age and so forth. On a wider scale, in terms of the conversation obtaining in Black America, Black women have been saying for decades that Black men need to get other Black men in check, and so forth. So after attending a Derek Jackson event a little while back, it finally dawned on me. Why don't I get involved and make a contribution? Why not give Black women what they claim they want? Responsible, ambitious, competent, honest Black men. That's kind of what Shannon's doing. Hey, I'm not a dating coach, but I do want to get my young guys in check and get them on board. After all, no one seems to have a problem with anyone else doing it. So what's the harm? How can I do any worse than anyone else before me? Here's the irrefutable fact that my interlocutors, or basically the people that want to have this conversation, simply will not deal with. You do not need any qualifications to be a dating coach. You do not need to go to school. You do not need to get a degree. You do not need certification. And you certainly do not need to be a licensed marriage counselor or therapist, since most Black people today don't even get married or even go to therapy for that much. You know what qualifications you need to be a dating coach or relationship expert in Black America? It's simple. Have a following on social media. If you're aiming for a Black female audience, be conspicuously handsome. Do I fit the bill, y'all? No. And tell them what they want to hear. That's all you got to do. Have a following on social media, be good looking, and tell black women what they want to hear. And bam, you are a dating coach. And if you're aiming for black men, again, be a man's man. Looking for black men, regale them with impossible tales to astonish of how you got incredible amounts of pussy. And find other groups of men, in this case, black men, to whoop up on in the name of don't be like them. Don't be Pookie and Ray Ray. Don't you be Pookie and Ray Ray. The harsh truth is that black people don't really want solutions. They want performance art. Because if they did, the stats would reflect that. Again, for the umpteenth time, look at the marital rate at its lowest point since the U.S. Census records have been kept since 1896. The out-of-wedlock birth rate now nearly 80%. And the beat goes on. And based on the personal track records of those who have made quite a bit of money being experts in the areas of dating, relationships, and self-love, it's clear that we, black people, either don't care or okay with said personal track records, but have a problem with what mine might or not be, or might not be. And that, more than anything, proves my point and my raison d'etre as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm exposing the rank hypocrisy of the whole thing. Yes, it's true. Lots of black men are not honest men. But it is also true that millions of black women are not being honest either. So I'm not going to give what black people claim to want in spades, because in the final analysis, I know that black folks are just bullshitting. We don't give a damn about the community. If we did, it wouldn't be in the cursed earth it is today. We don't give a fuck about the youth, because if we did, so many of them wouldn't be born almost as if by accident, at a time when birth control is available to anyone who wants it. And we certainly don't give a fuck about black love, because if we did, we would never allow anyone to do what happened to Richard Lawson and get away with it. Best of all, black women really don't want honest, ambitious, competent black men. What they want is a little bit of the qualities of these black men to rub off on the loser black men they love to fucking suck. I'm going to repeat that again. Sidebar. Best of all, black women really don't want honest, ambition, competent black men. You don't want the nerds. You don't want the cornballs like Shannon. You don't want the nerd. You don't want the hard workers, the ones that, you don't want the man that loves you. You don't want the average black guy. You know what you want? You just want some of his qualities to kind of rub off on Pookie and Ray Ray, because that's who you fucking and sucking. And they want black men like me to do the heavy lifting of turning a cad into a dad. Fuck that. No, fuck that shit. I am going to prove once and for all how and why so many black women are lying like a motherfucker by creating the very black men they claim to want. But in truth, they really don't want him. Sidebar, he's saying, I'm going to make these black men that you women claim to want and see how it goes from there. So enjoy. And remember, ladies, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. The second question for Obsidian. But Obsidian, you hate black women, but now you're going to be a dating coach? Nigga, please. The answer, laugh out loud. Obviously, the person who originally posed this question has never heard of the phrase, how often do you beat your wife? But seriously, folks, the truth is that I do not now, nor have I ever hated black women. And I have a 4-year history of podcasting and live talk radio show hosting, nearing 5,000 podcasts and shows to prove it. I have constantly made distinctions between and among black women. I have constantly singled out the specific black women I was talking about. But since we are dealing with Negroes here, we have to keep in mind the fact that in their little minds, any critique of any black woman under any circumstances, regardless as to how much proof or evidence you may have to actually support your arguments, is taken to mean that you hate black women at large, pardon the pun, which of course means that you also hate your mama because she black too. You see how that works? However, what always fascinates me about my intellectual dishonest detractors, I'm gonna just use that word because I can't, interlocutors, is how they're so silent. It's really interesting how these people are so silent about black women. Through their surrogates, spokesmen, and advocates in the media, in the academy and entertainment, they've been able to rail against black men in the aggregate for decades, unimpeded and unabated. And when you point this out to them, they offer all kinds of apologia and excuses and rationalizations and even justifications for it. Black women, in the form of both their own black vagina vision media, as well as white mainstream media, have free reign to engage in the gross blanket indictments of black men. And these supposedly do-gooders are completely okay with that. I mean, if that isn't a case of the study in rank hypocrisy, then the term has no meaning. Nevertheless, the idea behind the question here is that it's somehow impossible to both like or even love someone while at the same time criticizing their behavior. You can't love me and criticize me. That's what black women are saying. Like I said, Negroes ain't an intellectually sharp lot. The third question for Obsidian is, Obsidian, you've harshly criticized the entire dating coach industry. Now you want to become a dating coach? Either you're joking or you're being disingenuous, bruh. Come on. What the fuck you doing, Obsidian? Obsidian's answer is nope, neither. Please see my answer above. For many Negroes, it's simply impossible to hold two differing ideas in one hand at the same time. Well, the truth is that I've been both laudatory of pickup artists and dating coaches, as well as having voiced my critiques of both. Over the years, for example, my epic battle royales with Evan Mark Katz makes anything between Alan Roger Curry and me look tame by comparison. Oh, I didn't know that Obsidian was battling with Alan Roger Curry. You guys know who that is, don't you? Anyways, we'll talk about that later. And you can easily confirm this both in print and on the air. And my critiques are valid too. But of course, critiques alone ain't gonna get it. I know this. So, in line with my first response above, question number 1, it finally dawned on me to build better mousetraps. In my view, my major critiques of dating coaches is they are not addressing the particular challenges today's thinking man faces on the dating and mating scene. And since I've been in the trenches, studied all the relevant and goodly bit of irrelevant literature on the matter, have attended scores of events, have discussed the matter at length with scores of so-called self-styled experts, I said, why not me? And threw my hat into the ring. I am going to address things, themes, and issues that up to now, no other dating coach has, and I can say this with confidence because the number of dating coaches and relationship experts, specifically for black men, you can count on one hand with 3 fingers to spare. Never before will you see in print and in detail the kinds of topics that I will discuss in this book. And get ready for the massive levels of sheer butthurt coming from both hit dog black females, but also from lots of black men. And why? Because those black men directly benefit from the fuckery of so many black women. That's why. My dating coach and relationship expert practice will cast a shining, searing, burning, white-hot light on the fuckery of it all. And I'm going to make a shit ton of money in the process. I'll see you at the top. Number 4, question for Obsidian. What proof can you provide that you can get black women in the first place? Obsidian, what proof can you provide that you can get black women in the first place? Look, Obsidian says, why don't you ask your mama? She would be able to tell you. I was plowing her good. Where's my sounds at? I was plowing. Do I got my sounds going? I ain't. Hold on, everybody. I know I ain't got shit. I don't even got my sounds running. Hold on. That's upsetting. There we go. Obsidian says, no, somebody says, well, what proof can you provide that you can even get black women in the first place? Obsidian says, ask your mama. She'd be able to tell you. I was plowing her good and hard last weekend. But seriously, folks, what proof would I need? Pics of the women that I've had sex with, I've banged. Anyone can rightly say that they were hired guns. What about actual tape of me fucking these broads? You want to see video? You want to see me taking them to Pound Town to prove that I can get these women? Huh? Is that what you guys want? That would bring up questions of consent and disclosure, right? I mean, really, what woman would sign up for that? How about testimonials? Would that do the trick? Not likely. They too can be falsified. By now, you get my point. This is a bullshit ass question, partly because there is no definitive proof that will satisfy everybody, and most importantly, because these same people don't take all these other guys through the paces, many of them having far and away more colorful pasts regarding black women than I ever will have. And they were okay with that. Again, if the fact alone doesn't tell you all you need to know, nothing else will. A fifth question for Obsidian. Obsidian, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table as a dating coach that other dating coaches don't bring, Obsidian? Obsidian says, an actually good question, finally. My response is twofold and taken from a larger conversation I had in the comments section of a recent interview I did with O'Shea Duke Jackson, titled, Damn Right I'm Qualified to be a Dating Coach. And here's the link to the video. I'm sure we can search for it on YouTube. Number 1, I specifically target Black American men, the largest cohort of confirmed bachelors, according to the U.S. Census. And on top of that, the majority which are single and childless. 52% per the CDC. You know that number is 54% now. No diss to ARC, but he simply doesn't have this specific focus. That's Alan Roger Curry, by the way. ARC is Alan Roger Curry. No diss to my man ARC, but he simply doesn't have this specific focus, which is good on him. I say that Black American men have specific challenges that American men of other races simply do not face to the same degree. I'm targeting Black men. That's why. That's one reason why I qualify. All right. That's one reason why. That's one thing that I bring to the table. The second thing is I pull no fucking punches about the reality of today's rank and file Black woman. I'm not coddling none of y'all. I'm not talking sweet to none of y'all. Ain't gonna be no sugarcoating to the Black women in this book. You're gonna hear it direct. You're gonna hear it raw. And if you can't take that, don't read this book. But I'm coming straight at you with the facts, and whether you like it or not, and I'm not saying it nicely. With receipts on top of that. Sure, women of other races have their problems, and I've never denied that. But that is besides the point. The reality is that the majority of Black men will be dealing with Black women for for the better or worse. So why not offer a way to said black men that ensures their dealings with black women on their own terms with the maximum degree of pleasure and the least amount of headache, time wasted, or money thrown down a rat hole? These are two things that I bring to the table as a dating coach. And as I've lived life as a confirmed bachelor by choice and have known what it's like to have a bevy of black women bent over my couch to the present day, yeah, I know a little something about the enterprise that other guys would do well to learn from. The very fact that you're here following me now, again, proves that I'm ready. Proves that I'm already a hit, and I haven't even been on the job a month. While the iron is still hot, let me bring something else to the table that the vast majority of dating and relationship coaches don't bring to the table. Number 3, I bring to the table empirical evidence, statistics, academic, peer-reviewed research, actual real-world experts in the area of human mating. And the topics that I will address will be ripped from the headlines. You know, like that hugely popular hit TV show, Crime and Drama, Law and Order. Yep, that. As I would learn over many years of study, I'm more often than not better read, more studied, and simply put, just better informed than the bulk of the experts out there in Black America at this time, which shouldn't come as any great shock. Not only as most Black people not trained or learned in the STEM disciplines, but Black culture is simply not amenable to such inquiry. We value personal opinion and narrative and anecdotal evidence instead. And of course, we value money in the Black community. So what I'm bringing to the table for my specific target demographic are actual real world studies, data, and information that has direct relevance and bearing on the particular situation and reality as Black American men. Since they're a seriously and woefully underserved market, why not? And what's the harm? What? All of a sudden, we care about Black men now? The fuck? Really? Number 6 question for Obsidian. Obsidian, you never say nothing good about Black women. So how can you be a dating coach? I mean, Obsidian, you never say nothing good about Black women. So how can you be a dating coach? Ladies, Obsidian says, see my response to question number 2. Wash, rinse, and repeat. Thank you. Same answer. Number 7 question. Obsidian, what? You a dating coach? Nigga, please. No, ain't no Black women want you, Obsidian. Are you kidding me? That's what all the faceless phantom ladies, so named because they are ugly themselves, because that's who tends to be the ones who say that shit. And if it's coming from a Black man, and I'm no homophobe, but yeah, I'm not gonna say it. That shit is fucking gay. I'm reading this on YouTube. I don't know if that's a striking word on YouTube, and I'm learning this YouTube thing. I mean, really? Seriously? To go any further is to dignify the stupidity. Next question. Okay, question for you, Obsidian. Number 8. Number 8. What y'all talking about on the chat? Nothing? Okay, cool. Everybody pay attention. Well, we got 30 people still listening? Damn, y'all like listening to me? I know I don't read that good. But thank you for being here. Obsidian, I got a question for you. I got an 8th question for you. So, Obsidian, are you looking to help Black men just get laid? Are you just really trying to get Black men some pussy? Or are you really trying to help Black men get into relationships? I mean, because, what you trying to do here? What's your angle here, Obsidian? Are you just trying to get them are you just trying to help men get laid? Or you really want them to get into meaningful relationships? Obsidian laughs out loud, LOL, as if the rank and file Black women actually gives a shit about actual relationships. Do you ladies even really give a fuck, actually, truthfully, about relationships? Trust me, they don't. Black women are very happy to live their best lives. I'm living my best life, right? Black women want to live their best lives strictly on the basis that they don't need no man. right? That's the mantra. That's the slogan. That's the word. That's the company motto. Don't need no black men. And please do not try to gaslight me or anyone else. Black women have been constantly saying this shit for decades on end. What black women want is to be able to do what they want, when they want, to whomever they want, without any kind of consequence, to be able to fuck who they want, procreate with whomever they want, and then demand that everyone else help them in rearing these bastards that they whelp. So spare me the spiel here. Men of all races want to get laid, period. All men want some pussy. And sooner rather than later. Now, some will also want to have girlfriends. Some will want to have live-in lovers. Some will even want to have wives. But they all want to get some pussy. Simply put, and as the professor Tom Likas has said so many times, dating equals porking, as far as men, including black men, are concerned. And if sex isn't on the tables, dating dies. If sex isn't on the table, dating dies. Ladies, if sex is not on the table, dating dies. Just take a look around Black America right now. You're hard pressed to see many black people out and about. And there's a reason for that. Actually, quite a few that I discuss early and often on my live shows. One of them is the simple fact that black men and women have fundamentally different ideas about what makes their best life. And one of the few things they agree on is fucking. So why not go for that? We already do anyway. I'm simply teaching the guys in my dojo to be brutally honest about it. So to suggest, as some have already have, that what I'm doing will somehow deepen or widen the divide between black men and women, listen, Derek Jackson, Steve Harvey, Hill Harper haven't done a damn thing to heal the divide between black men and women either. Indeed, they've helped to increase it. And none of you said a mumbling word about that. So now we have all the crocodile tears. I thought my mother was the only one that said that. Now we have all the crocodile tears. You Negroes are full of shit. I don't want to hear all that. What does Princessa say? She said, goodbye then. No need for me to date or be courted. I'm not going to have sex with anyone. Listen, we'll talk about that later, Princessa. What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? Men want sex. That's the reason we date. That's the reason we date. You know, dating is relatively new. We didn't date in the 1800s and beyond. Dating is new. Dating is a 20th century thing. Men didn't date. I know a lot of people hate the movie Color Purple. Sidebar. This is for Princessa, who said, goodbye then. No need for me to date or be courted. I'm not going to have sex with anyone. Listen to me. Let me explain something to you. I want you to reference the movie Color Purple. Everybody, this is a quick sidebar. And I want to give you some game on dating. Dating is a relatively new thing. That happened as a result. That was a marketing thing. It was created just like the fucking diamond ring. Just like the diamond wedding ring is new. Do you guys remember in the first act of the movie Color Purple, did Mr. date Celie? Or did Mr. walk across the fucking field from his plantation and walk over to the preacher's house and say, I'd like to marry your daughter, Nettie. I'd like to marry your daughter, Nettie. You can't have Nettie. Not now, not ever. But you can have Celie. She's spoiled, though. She ugly. But she'll make a good wife. She'll cook for you. She'll clean. Do you guys not remember the opening scene of Color Purple? Did he take her to the movies? Did Celie get wined and dined? Did they go on a walk along with the moonlight along the beach? How many dinners did Mr. take Celie to before he asked for her hand in marriage? I want you guys to think about this, you guys. I know some of you guys haven't thought about this. Damn, you're thinking right now, whoa, holy shit. He just straight up walked across the field, went to the other house and said, I need to marry your daughter. He didn't even talk to her. It was a young mister who wanted to marry these young girls, 15 years old or younger. There was no dating because there was a duty to be married husband. It wasn't no love. It had, what's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love? So you ladies that have been sold on this whole Disney bullshit, be swept off your feet by a white knight, you tripping. Now, I'm not saying remove dating, but when you say things like, fuck it, I'll just be alone forever, you got the wrong idea, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to reprogram you. That's why this book is, I've never read this book. I've never read this book. But this book is clearly gonna ruffle some feathers, as he said. It's gonna piss some of you ladies off. But wake the fuck up. I need you to wake up if you want success. We'll look at the dismal situation that we're in our black. We are 60% divorced. We're not even sticking together, you guys. We're not even dating. So just don't think of it as doom and gloom. But be prepared to reprogram your software. Be prepared to upload some new firmware if you're hanging out with your boy Shan. I know you love the Color Purple movie. Oh, man. Oh, Miss Seeley, you still a virgin. I get it. The Color Purple, I get it. Black men, they beat women. I get all that bullshit that the movie taught you guys. All that fucked up lies that the movie taught you. But aside from that, I just want you to consider the opening scene where Mr. walked over there with a horse and his hat in his hand and asked for Nettie's. He didn't want Seeley. He asked for Nettie's hand in marriage. And if the daddy would have said yes, that would have been his wife. Instead, he gave him Seeley. There was no motherfucking, they didn't go to the goddamn play. They didn't sit up under the stars and talk for a few months. And they didn't kick it for a couple years and then finally get married. Dating is new. Wrap your head around that. Dating is new. All right. Let's continue. Question number 9 for Obsidian. Question number 9 for Obsidian. Wealthy firefighter, don't make me laugh. I'm trying to read. Question number 9, Obsidian. From what I've seen and heard of your method, it doesn't work. It doesn't work and it won't work because it lacks charm. It lacks charisma. Obsidian, what you trying to do ain't gonna work because it doesn't have any charisma involved. Obsidian says, right, because charm and charisma pays the bills, right? Because T-Mobile accepts charm as a form of payment. The lights, DWP, Department of Water and Power in Los Angeles, they take charisma as a payment method. Right? This comes from black women who are A, psychotic, and B, dinner whores. C, and CA, and then CA. I've discussed this extensively over the past week or two with upcoming column on the matter for the Negro Manosphere next week. It was Monday, July 29th, 2019. We've got time for one more question. You win. You in the blue dress. What's your question? Number 10, Obsidian. By the way you talk, You clearly don't have much success with black women. Why should anyone listen to you? By the way you talk, you clearly don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't got no success with black women. Why should anybody listen to you? Obsidian says, you got to be kidding me, right? Does anyone else see this? I told you Negroes aren't the brightest bulbs on the tree. First, all men have difficulty with women. If that weren't true, how do you explain Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp, both of whom went through bitter divorces? How do you explain what's going on with the ex-NBA star Kevin Garnett? It even struck Elon Musk himself, the closest thing we have to a real-life Tony Stark. It only takes a quick stroll through social media to bear out the fact that men from all walks of life go through problems with women. And the more successful you are, the more likely you are to experience it. Let's update this list. Dr. Dre. Microsoft founder. Bill Gates. Shall we update the list, you guys? So the real question is, why should anyone listen to the above mentioned guys who have more success than 99.9999 of all men who have ever lived? Yeah, that by the logic of the questioner, no one should take advice from any man, because every man has experienced difficulty with women. All of them. Even the richest men in the world. Amazon, divorce, 35 billion. Why listen to anybody? If everybody, even the most richest and the most successful and the most wealthy and the most have to do of everything, the most handsome, have problems with women. Which brings me to my next point. All men will strike out more with women than they hit home runs with women. This is especially true if you're a guy who talks to a lot of women. No man will be a hit with all women all the time, period. But since this question is about me, allow me to toot my own horn a bit. I've turned down 4 girls at the same time for prom, in public, in full view of witnesses. How many dating coaches can say that? I've turned down 2 formal marriage proposals from women and successfully dodged a half dozen other attempts to get me married off to black women. How many dating coaches and relationship experts specifically geared to black men can say that? I took 2 women to my sister's wedding and danced with them both on the floor at her reception. We continued to deal with each other in an open arrangement for the better part of a year. Again, I ask, how many black male dating coaches for black men can say that? How many black men can say that they've had black women half their age hit on them and approach them first, then pick one to have as a live-in lover for several years? I was about to say, I got you there, Obsidian, but the live-in part, you got me. I did it when I was in my mid-30s. She was 19 when we first met. How many black men can say that they've had black women tell them, and I quote, "You're the man I should have had my children with"? I got that. I got you there too. To let the ladies tell it, the overwhelming majority of black men ain't shit, right? Yeah, Obsidian. We're kindred spirits on that one. I've had about 3 women tell me, "I wish that you was my baby daddy." Shannon. In a day and age where black marital rate is at an all-time low and black men and women are living apart more than ever, how many black men do you know who can keep a woman for an extended period of time? And by time, I mean years. I know a lot of brothers. I don't know many. Do you? I can go on, but by now, you get the point. I'll be the first to say that I'm no Casanova in blackface, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let a bunch of faceless phantom attempts to poo-poo my bona fides. I know how to get her done, and I know I can teach it too. After all, why not? Okay, that's it for today. Thank you everyone for coming out. I appreciate it. And that's the end of chapter 3, ladies and gentlemen. And this chapter is only 7 pages. This is the shortest chapter of all. We're gonna knock out chapter 4. I'm liking this book. I thought I was gonna be laboring this motherfucker, but this shit is easy to read. Hold on. How did I switch to chapter 31? Let me go back to chapter 4. Are you guys with me? You guys are with me? We're going to knock out chapter 4 in Obsidian's book. If you have not read this book, please catch up. Today is chapter 1 through 4. I want you guys, it's 40 people in here right now. I want you guys to go get this book. Click the link in my description. It'll take you straight to the book. It is $8. So it's cheaper than what you're going to spend at fast food place today for lunch. So grab the book real quick. You'll have it instantly. Right? And then I want you to knock out chapter 1 through 3 because you're going to listen to chapter 4 with me right now. I want you to read chapter 1 through 3 and you're going to listen to chapter 4 with me right now because on Friday, we're going to read chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. Friday, we're going to read together chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. So tonight, you have to read chapters 1 through 3. We're going to read chapter 4 right now. This is a fast read. This one is quick. And then on Friday together, we're all going to read chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, man. Let's keep it going, guys. All right. Lakeisha, I know you here listening. All right, here we go. Chapter 4. Mumia Obsidian Ali, dating coach. Why not? Only Nixon can go to China. Soothe my throat. Thank you, Miss Drea. You got them headphones on? You tapped into your boy? All right, here we go. Let's knock this out. 7 quick pages. Last Saturday night, I participated in an impromptu discussion with O'Shea Duke Jackson, the LAR movement, and Solo 84. They were discussing a recent incident in New York City involving a short stature man's angry ranting at a popular bagel joint, which by now I am sure all of you are aware of, right? So the topic was about that and by extension, how shorter guys successfully navigate today's dating and mating environment. Fellas, if you are under 6 feet, sidebar. Fellas, if you are under 6 feet, pay attention. Fellas, if you are under 6 feet, pay attention. So the topic was about that and by extension, how shorter men successfully navigate today's dating and mating environment, which, let's be honest, as the New York City short bagel guys bears out, can be particularly brutal to us shorter guys. On Sunday afternoon, I watched ODJ do a follow-up live stream. I'm sorry, O'Shea Duke Jackson. So that's who ODJ is. On Sunday afternoon, I watched O'Shea Duke Jackson do a follow-up live stream entitled, "You Cannot Be a Top Dating Coach Without These 4 Things." And in it, he makes the case that, in his opinion, no black man who calls himself a dating coach or relationship expert is in fact one who hasn't written something on the matter. He considers it a test of said black man relationship expert intellectual mettle. Being a man who always rises to the occasion, even though I've only been a dating coach for a mere few days, count me in. What? You may ask. Obsidian ain't no damn dating coach. Well, I fully admit that I am an unlikely candidate to be sure, but as I noted in last night's discussion, I've been basically drafted into the position by popular demand, so to speak. What am I talking about? I've been doing podcasting and talk radio show hosting now for 4 years, quite successfully at that. Despite the hills and valleys of the business, I've been able to build up a dedicated following of listeners who tune in every day. At present, my live shows pull in about 500 live listeners on average an hour. And that has not gone unnoticed, let me tell you. I say that because, and this ties into the notion of being drafted, quite a few people, both black men and white and black women alike, would tell me things like, Obsidian, you should be using your own talent for the betterment of uplifting the community. You should be mentoring the youth. You should be offering solutions instead of constantly whining and complaining about black female fuckery, etc. I've heard this a lot over the past few years in particular. On top of that, in the wider black community, especially online, black women can be heard constantly complaining about the dearth of eligible black men and their demands that black men make or create better black men who could qualify as quality mates. In fact, this line of unreason has been heard and can easily be documented researching back easily 3 decades or more with no end in sight. So then I attended a self-love summit event here in Philadelphia back in May, which was really the Derek Jackson's show, right? The place was packed with like over 900 black women in Philadelphia. Standing room only just to listen to Derek Jackson, Stephen Labossiere, and Ace Metaphor. In that order. Prattle on giving nonsensical answers to equally silly schoolgirl-ass questions. It was all a thinly veiled dog and pony show for the women to oogle over Derek Jackson himself, the right from central casting star of the show. Since I've been ribbing the guy some ungodly in my podcast for easily the past few years, I've had the chance to do quite a bit of research on him in one of his live stream chats in response to one of his fangirls as to what qualified him to be a relationship expert. Jackson, in a rare moment of clarity and frankness, responded with one word. This is during Jackson's live. When I asked, well, what qualifies Derek Jackson to be a relationship expert? Jackson himself replied with one word. Nothing. Nothing qualifies me to do that. Derek Jackson went on to say that he was just giving his opinions on matters of the heart and said that if you go on stage at a stand-up comedy club and make people laugh, well, you're a comedian by definition. And you know what? Mr. Point Break in blackface, he got a point. Because the truth of the matter is this, and I should know, having studied the matter intensely for the past whole damn decade, is that what I have coined as the black male relationship expert industrial complex is shot through with guys with absolutely no formal training or credentialization in marital counseling or relationships whatsoever. Some, like the famed or infamous, depending on your point of view, Steve Harvey, have very colorful, if not outright controversial, marital and relationship backgrounds themselves. He's been married 3 whole times and has admitted to cheating on one of his exes. This is sobering fact didn't stop Steve Harvey's book from spending more than a year on the New York Times bestseller list. Hill Harper, another New York Times bestseller author, has razor-thin resumes in the relationship and marital department as well. Like me, he joins the nation's largest cohort of confirmed bachelors, black men 40 and over. This and the fact that he loves black women so much that he got him an Asian woman to be on his arm doesn't qualify him from dishing on black love. No, I'm sorry, doesn't disqualify him, even though Hill Harper talks all about black love and gives all his advice to black men and is a self-proclaimed expert and dating coach. And he loves black women. He went out and got him an Asian woman. And that didn't disqualify him. With black women being his biggest financial supporter. And the beat goes on. Bottom line, there are no qualification to be a black love doctor. Well, none in a formal empirical sense that actually speaks to, actually getting into and maintaining a functional, healthy black relationship or marriage. For real, The only qualifications you need to have are one, have a following on social media, and two, either be really conspicuously handsome or seriously funny or loaded. And boom, you're a relationship expert, dating coach, self love ambassador. And what's even better is the fact that the aforementioned names, Jackson and Harvey and Harper and many more, are black male relationship experts for black women. Thus far, only a mere handful have been out there representing for brothers. And the O'Shea Duke Jackson's stated criteria, hold on. The O'Shea Duke Jackson stated criteria above, the only black dating expert for black men I can think of off the top of my head is Alpha Male Strategies. Do you guys follow Alpha? I follow Alpha Male Strategies on YouTube. That's a channel. You guys should follow that. That means there's a seriously golden opportunity for someone like me to stake my claim and plant my flag. Think about it. As I've said above, I am part of the country's single largest cohort of confirmed bachelors in the United States, black men aged 40 and over. That, according to the United States Census, according to the Center for Disease Control, some 52, and today 54% of black men are single and childless. Recent figures have shown that more black men are attending and graduating college and universities than ever in the history of the Union, and there are currently more black men in school than in jail. Much to the chagrin of the sisterhood, shout out to Professor Ivory Tolson of Howard University. The current Trump administration has seen black male unemployment figures drop to all-time lows since such records have been kept. And according to blackdemographics.com, a full 1/3 of the black male workforce are blue-collar workers and tradesmen, something I would know quite intimately since that's what I did with all my adult life prior to my early retirement due to a workplace injury a decade ago at the age of 40. By the way, as a result of black men being overrepresented in the blue-collar trades, still America's most dangerous, most arduous work, and still heavily male-dominated, more black men are disabled, like me. And me. Shannon is a disabled vet. It isn't as bad as it sounds, and I've actually made my disability an asset out on the dating, mating market. Put that together with the fact that more black men are closer to my height of 5'7" than Derek Jackson at 6'5". And yeah, I'm sitting on a heck of a gold mine of a targeted demographic market, single, educated, hardworking men who might need a bit of assistance navigating the 21st century world that is black American dating savannah. Nevertheless, there will be those, surprisingly enough so far, largely black men who will question my bona fide and fitness to dole out dating and mating advice, despite my often repeated statements about being a lifelong confirmed bachelor and self-described hedonist. But that's okay. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years, that the best way to convince anyone that you are for real and the real deal is to simply show them, which is always better than to tell them. This, then, is the first of a series of columns here at the Negro Manosphere, the Black Manosphere, laying out the Obsidian method, if you will. It is a work in progress that will eventually be compiled into an actual textbook manual at some point in the near future. I invite friend and foe alike to come into the shop, kick the tires, and take what I say out on a test drive. And let me know the results. Like any good prototype, this baby needs honest, tough critics. Iron does, in fact, sharpen iron after all. So yes, my friends, yours truly have officially thrown his hat into the dating and mating ring. By popular demand, be careful what you wish for, folks. You just might get it. And that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we knocked it out in under 3 hours. I am proud of that. I am proud of that. Damn, it's not even, I am proud of that. Ooh, look at chapter 5. Are black women fun? Oh, I'm not even gonna let y'all see the rest of that page. Friday, we read chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wait, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yes, we read chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the first one is, are black women fun? It's only 15 pages. It's only 15 pages. It's a fast read. Y'all pull up. Y'all pull. Oh, hey, Kaya. Oh, let me go look at the chat now. Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? What's up, Kaya? Hey, Miss Parker. My man Donnie Mack is in the house. A to Z Health is here. What's the game plan now? Marry the first man knocking on your parents' door? Well, we will read the book. The game plan is for us to first read the book. Once we read the book, we extrapolate the information that's given to us, and we move accordingly. You know, are black women fun? Uh-oh, Kaya's like, what the fuck that mean? What you mean by that, Obsidian? What you talking about, Obsidian? M. Mills, what up? Jill is still here. You guys hung in there with your boy. Everybody, are you guys hitting the like button on this video? I need you to hit the like. Sir Tice is here. What up, Sir Tice? I approved you to the Facebook group. I saw your request in the Facebook group. I approved you. So you should be in. My man Javaro is still here. My man Javaro is still here. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm glad you guys hung in there with your boy. Thank you for the likes. Oh, we got a thumbs down. I got a thumbs down. Somebody doesn't like me reading this book. I wonder who hit the thumbs down button. I got 63 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. Who? 64 now. You guys vote. Vote real quick. Vote with your likes. I got 64. I got 66 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. Who doesn't like this? Who's like, oh no, I don't want to read nothing from Obsidian. Uh-oh. Are we going to ruffle some feathers? Are we going to ruffle some feathers, or are we going to eat the hay and spit out the sticks? Are we going to extrapolate the good information that applies to you and ignore the stuff that doesn't? You know, a hit dog hollers. A hit dog hollers. He is going to hurt some men. He is going to hurt some women. I look forward to being hurt because that's the only way I can get better. I like being critiqued. I like it when people tell me about myself. It rarely happens because I rarely give people enough bad shit to talk about. I'm talking my shit. Thank you everybody for pulling up. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Does everybody subscribe to the show? I'm sorry, subscribe to my channel. Has everybody subscribed to the channel? I don't think my system is still working. Let me go check. Nope, it's not. I gotta get them. I don't know what's going on. I didn't pay them money too. They're gonna give me a refund. Oh, I turned off the cloud bot. God dog it. I forgot to do that. That's my bad. You got these damn contests. It's killing me. Anyways, let me close that. And let me close that. Let's keep that up. Ladies and gentlemen, do you guys want to have a discussion? You know what we do at the end of each chapter? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to come up and talk. If you have something to say, put a 1 in the chat. You have to be on camera. You have to be on camera. Everybody throw your 1s up.
Being number 1 isn't easy.
Throw your 1s up. Soldiers, we know what we do. Javaro has blessed the channel with a $10 super chat. He don't even have nothing to say. He just wants to bless the channel with a $10 super chat. Shout out to my man Javaro.
Being number 1 isn't easy.
Shout out to the soldier Javaro. You see that rank next to him? He's a soldier in the SR Army. Everybody throw your 1s up. Thank you, Javaro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your support. You continue to support me, bro. You come, you ran you and Andrea, you got, I mean, yeah, you and Princessa, y'all ran the New Year's Eve live all the way to like 4 in the morning. You come and you work out with me. and you blessed the channel with money. I mean, come on, bro. You bought the book. You bought Obsidian's book. It just got delivered to you yesterday. Shout out to you, Javaro, man. Thank you for your support, bro. Thank you for your support, man. Thank you so much. Does anybody want to come up? Nobody wants to come up? We don't, listen, we don't have to. I'm hungry. I want to eat lunch anyway. We don't have to have a discussion. I'm going live later. We're going to have a high value Shan. And I'm introducing a new series called, it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be called. It's going to be called maybe Shots Fired, where I can just do really quick reaction videos. There's a lot of stuff. You guys send me some really great clips. I usually get them through Instagram DMs. And these clips I get, you want me to react to them. But high value Shan tends to be too long. So I'm gonna create something else so I can just do quick reaction videos where we can watch the video and talk about it real quick and then be gone. So I'm gonna put that in motion today too. Thank you guys so much. We don't have to have a discussion today. But I do want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. We're at 67 likes. Can we get to 70 before we end? Can I get 3 more likes? Help me out. You know, help me out. I need subscribers. I had a goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I missed my goal. So now I need 1,800 more. Can you guys help me out? Please subscribe to my channel. Like this video and let the world know that this video is worth watching. We're at 68. Can I get 2 more? I'm only asking because I want YouTube to say, yo, watch this show. I want people to say, yo, watch this show. It's worth watching. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. You know, that's important to me. And then join the army. Notice that people with rank next to the name in the chat, those are the soldiers in the SR Army. Hooah! All you got to do is rank. They have unlocked perks that's available to them that a lot of you guys have. And then, of course, I want to give a shout out to JS for the $10 super chat. He said, I purchased my book 3 months ago. I'm going to read chapters 1 through 3. YouTube channel coming soon for everyday black men. That is what's up. Knockout, you bought the book 3 months ago. You haven't read it. Shame on you, JS, but that's what we're here for. Everybody, let's clap. JS bought the book 3 months ago, but he hadn't had time to read it. So tonight, between tonight and Friday, he's going to knock out chapters 1 through 3. He just read 4 with us, so he can jump in with chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8 on Friday. Brother, you're going to be done with the book by the end of the month, because that's when we're done with the book. It's scheduled out to be finished by the end of January. So the book that you bought 3 months ago, you will have finished in the next 3 weeks. Shout out to you, JS, and thank you so much for your support, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for throwing a 1 up. Thank you, everybody, for throwing a 1 up. I appreciate you guys. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. And please join the SR Army. Please join the SR Army. All right. Another thing. I need everybody to go to this website, sidebar.shannonrawls.com. It is our Facebook discussion group. It's open for everybody. Go to sidebar, all one word, .shannonrawls.com. That's going to take you straight to the Facebook group. It's the Facebook group called Sidebar. If you're already in Facebook, you can also just type Sidebar. You could just search for it, Sidebar Shannon Rawls. It'll show you our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. Come on in. We're going to be extending our discussions and conversations over there. Now, we have a higher level of intellectual conversations on the back chat, but you got to be a full-time soldier to have access to that. And then even above that, our special forces soldiers, we have a mastermind group, but everybody's invited to the Facebook group. So please join Sidebar with Shannon Rawls and Friends. That's the name of the group, Sidebar with Shannon Rawls and Friends. Come on over. If you want just a quick way to get there, it's sidebar.shannonrawls.com. Sidebar.myname.com. It'll take you straight to the Facebook group. I'll approve you as soon as you get there. All right. My name is Mr. Shannon Rawls. Thank you for reading along with us. Remember, reading is the way to expand your mind and your bank account. Tune in next time to Rich People Read, and you, my friends, are dismissed.
Yeah. Escucha. Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada. Me haces falta, bebé. Dime qué tengo que hacer para tenerte una vez, para no poderte perder. Dulce, eres mi bombón. Te quiero melocotón. Por ti corro un maratón. Solo de la dirección. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. Para mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor.
You think I didn't catch that before the billions? Before the billions and walked up in here and dropped another dub. He was like, wait, last minute, Shan. Before the billions, they came in here and dropped another dub. I caught that. I heard the cha-ching. I was like, what was that? Hold on, you guys. We got to update the stream sponsor to Before the Billions. $49.97. Before the Billions is now the stream sponsor. Let's let that stroll across the stream in slow motion. In addition to that, his name will be at the top of the description of the video. Remember, I told you guys all stream sponsors for 2002 from now on are going to be, I'm going to modify the description of the videos to have their shows highlighted. And if they have a channel, it'll be clickable to their channel. Before the Billions has a channel. So this show is going to click straight to Before the Billions show in the description of this video. And of course, we have to embed it into the video. Shout out to my man, Before the Billions. Everybody, please throw your ones up. Throw your ones up to Before the Billions.
Being number one isn't easy.
Throw your ones up to Before the Billions. He says, victory. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my, he was like, nah, nope, that ain't happening. Before the Billions has sponsored your boy Shan. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your support. Everybody, please go to Before the Billions channel. You know he has a channel. In fact, you're gonna have a link, but if you just don't want to wait for that, go in YouTube, search Before the Billions. This is a brother in STEM. He does shows every day. I subscribe to him. Please support his channel. Let's get his watch hours up. Let's get his subscriptions up. That's what it is. It's plenty of room for everybody, you guys. It's not no competition. Despite what you may hear from other channels, this ain't no competition. There's room for everybody. And Before the Billions is one of our brothers. So please, everybody support him as he supports me. As he supports me. Thank you, Before the Billions. I appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, now you are dismissed.
Yeah. Escucha. Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada.
With his signature $1.99 support.
Being number one isn't easy.
I appreciate JT.
¿Qué tengo que
I
hacer
appreciate you too, JT. I'm sitting here rocking to the music.
para no
I'm
poderte
sitting here rocking to the music,
Tú
watching
eres
everybody talk in the
mi
chat as it scrolls
bombón.
up, and then JT hits
Quiero
us
un
with that.
melocotón. Por ti
My man,
corro
what
un
a
maratón.
number one. Number one.
La
Being number one isn't
dirección.
easy.
Being number one isn't easy.
Appreciate you, bro.
Queriendo más amor, pa' mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor, tú y yo. Con esa conexión, somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada. Mira, somos perfectos, es algo indiscutible. Mi estilo y tu estilo no están disponibles. Solo soy sensible cuando te tengo porque eres irresistible. Tus labios combinan con tus ojos, porque eres tan pretty que hasta yo de eso me antojo. Chica, necesito mis anteojos. Quiero verte en noche hermosa de todos modos. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. A mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada.